Okay. So this is, like I said, our first attempt at our Zoom meeting. So thank you very much for those of you who have been joining us on our Fridays. We've been doing that from 10 to 11 on Fridays, and each meeting has a different Zoom number. So make sure that you link on the exact one or on the correct one. Just as a quick recap, this is our official board meeting. So as such, we will treat it with the proper Robert's rules. We'll do owner comment, we'll do all of that. And then our business, as we usually do our business, will not be open for comments and things like that, generally speaking, from the audience. However, during our owner's comment, we welcome your attendance and your participation. And then we also, if you're on the computer, give me a wave. You can actually put your hand up. It should be on the chat box. You should be able to raise your hand. Yep, I can do that. You can do that too, Dick. I got you. And then what we'll do is we'll give the 3 minutes for your public comment, and then it will be a hard stop, just like it would be in any other meetings. So that being said, I know there's 2 people for sure that wanted owner comment. I did receive an email earlier from Eileen Barr. Actually, it was from Jerry Barr. And I'm going to go ahead and call on him, and then I'll get to you, Dick. Is that okay? All right. I am looking for Eileen. Eileen, can you unmute her? I'm looking for her. Sorry, patience. I know I saw her up here earlier. Okay. All right, then I will go ahead and go to you, Dick, because I see you here. And Patrick, I'm going to ask if you can help me find Eileen. I saw her on here earlier, so for some reason I'm not able to. Dick, please go ahead, and I've got the timer going. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much.
Also, just a thank you for setting this stuff up on Zoom. It's important for people to be able to both see what's going on and contribute, and just thanks for that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Dick. I'm going to go ahead and put you back on mute. Did they ever find Eileen? No, I know she was on here. Okay. So here's the scoop. I know that there were some issues with the correct Zoom number. The number on our agenda is not the correct one. It's actually the one that's been posted everywhere is the same thing, but it's not on our on the actual agenda. So we did send out a quick service alert, and then I knew that there was some issues specifically with regards to the bars. So I did send a quick message to them too with the correct link. So is there anybody else that would like to have a public comment? Either wave to me with a thumbs up, or give me the high sign. Is there anybody? Little hand up or anything? Are we good? Perfect. Then I would like to unmute. Patrick, I'm gonna need your help on this. Can you help me unmute all of our board members? What? Debbie's texting me. Sorry, just a second. Debbie, I can see you, Debbie. I'm sorry. I was looking for owner's comments. Sorry.
Yeah, I think because the number was wrong, I just received some texts. Some people couldn't join. Can we perhaps let owner comment resume after the Pledge of Allegiance or something? Because there's several people that did not see the update on the phone number being wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll figure out as people come in to, yeah, well, I agree. We want to make sure that people have an opportunity to speak, especially with the number being wrong. So I will loop back just for the record. I will loop back just before we go to committee reports. after we do our minutes and adopt our agenda and all that. Is that reasonable to the board members? I see a couple head shakes. Is that okay? All right, perfect. Thank you for that suggestion, Debbie.
Yes, all board members are unmuted.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So board members, if you want to, you can mute and unmute yourself, but I'm here right now. Everybody is unmuted. So I need to verify that the meeting was properly noticed. Oh, you need to unmute Steve. All right. Okay, you're unmuted, Steve. You're good.
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Can we verify that there is indeed a quorum? I believe we have all 7 board members on. Is that correct?
Yes, you do.
Perfect. And then could I please pledge of allegiance? Oh, I got some hands over our heads. Very good. I pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands.
One nation.
Under God. Indivisible. With liberty and justice for all. That was awkward.
It worked though.
It did. It was, everybody was in and out at different levels. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. The motion, we wanted to do a quick amendment with the agenda. Do we have a motion for the amended agenda? Okay. All right, I will motion. I make a motion to amend item number 19, which is to the Island Village information regarding the school mew and the mailbox kiosk. I motion that we move number 19 to make that number 10. So do it after all of our resolutions, but before we actually start our partner programs on item number 10. So number 19 will now become 10 and everything else will shift down. Is that reasonable?
I'll second
Do I have
that.
a second for that?
I
Is that
second
a
that.
second, David?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Oh, Mary Ann? Go ahead. Oh. Mary Ann, you had a question?
Yeah, I can't, I'm stuck on mute.
I just unmuted you.
Okay. That's what, I was having trouble because it was not unmuting when Patrick unmuted everyone, so.
Okay, so you're good now? Perfect.
I'm still
okay.
showing, yes, now I'm good. Yes, it's gone green. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Brian. Oh, mute. I'm trying to unmute you. You're not unmuting. Okay, you're unmuted.
It looks like it's unmuted now. Yeah, something happened and it remuted a bunch of us.
Oh, okay. All right, we're all good now? Okay, there are no opposed to the modified agenda, correct? Are you still muted, Debbie? Okay, I'm unmuting the board. Patrick, I need help unmuting the board members again, please.
They're unmuted.
Okay.
Good
All
now.
right, perfect. Thank you
Except
so
for
much.
Brian.
Appreciate
Brian's
it.
still muted.
How is Brian muted again?
There he goes. Now he's not.
All right,
You
perfect.
mute
Okay.
yourself, but it wouldn't let me unmute myself before.
Okay, got it. All right, so we are set. So I need to get a motion for board minutes, board meeting minutes for 2/26/2020 and 3/6/2020. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Who was that?
Second.
Brian, and a David was a second.
I have just a couple quick questions on the minutes. I apologize here.
Okay.
Can you hear me one second? And I got a question from someone. They were trying to get in the meeting. They're on hold on that 877 number.
They shouldn't be on hold. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if Patrick can get that. I don't know.
Patrick, can you help out with that one? It might be, it may have called in the wrong number.
It was 877-853-5257.
That is the
Did I
incorrect.
put the right meeting ID though?
Debbie, it might help if you can send it to Patrick. He can make sure that we can get them the right login for it.
Okay, let me finish this. I had a question, I apologize, on the 217 minutes.
But I'm specific, Debbie, I'm sorry, the motion was just for the board meeting right now, the 26th and the 6th.
You're on the 26 minutes?
I'm on the first board meeting 2/26/2020 and 3/6/2020. Was there any questions on that one?
Yes.
There was questions on that. Okay.
February 17th, or do you want the ones from the 26th?
My motion was for the 26th and the 6th.
Okay, so the 26th.
Debbie, I'll give you a minute. I do have a question if you want to take a minute to look at what you're looking at, and I'll just ask my quick question.
Kevin.
Hello, everybody, by the way. Looking at 226, I just wanted to go ahead and follow up on the management report and hope that in today's management report, Steve might be able to touch on the renovations, if they were completed in March, as well as if we have begun the monthly service area reports to going to each service area resident on a monthly basis as requested by Brian. So when Steve goes through that report, if you could just touch on those two items.
Kevin, can you just clarify the renovations for the Jones room?
Yes,
No.
for the Jones room,
No,
as well as monthly service area reports to each service area.
Okay,
on a
yeah, I got
monthly
that.
basis. Thank you.
Okay, Debbie, did you have anything on those 2 minutes?
yes, on the 26th, sorry, that person can't get through. Patrick, I'll have to talk to you after this. The 26th, on the committee reports, Brian had requested a conversation about the third-party consultants for the roof projects, and I just wanted to know if we had scheduled anything for that or if that happened before I got on. And that was under the 26th. We can talk about that under roofing if that's easier. Might be.
I can tell you, just if you don't mind me stepping in,
Go ahead, Susan.
typically when we do roof projects or any kind of major renovations, we have a third-party engineer that that represents CROA to make sure that the roofs are put on according to the specifications. So I'm not sure. I mean, that's been our practice.
Right,
since I've
right.
been here.
Wanted to make sure that we hadn't deviated from that. And then back to, I just had something to add on the 316 minutes, Vanessa.
On which one? The which one?
March 16th.
Well, go ahead. Let's finish up the first one that I had the motion on the table for, and then we can go on to the rest. Then we can just open it up for the rest of them. That way we're done. We just wanted to get the.
You were breaking up, so I missed which one you said. So you said the 26th of February, and which other one?
The only ones we said was February 26th and March the 6th.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Okay, so based on that and the feedback, are we good with the motion? Are we good? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, then I'll just go ahead and loop the rest of them together. It'll be a little easier. So motion to approve February 17th, March 9th, March 16th, and then the weekly update of 3/27. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from David. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Diana. Diana's a second. Okay, discussion. Debbie, you had some edits or questions?
I did. Under the action items for brief updates, it had the CROA board involved in the process of the final candidates for the executive director, but the breakout when we had the committee assignments just had you, Vanessa, on it. I just want to make sure that was corrected to all.
Did what? I'm sorry, I missed what you said, the end part of that.
Yeah, it's breaking up. So under the executive director transition, under the brief.
Right, I got that. Yeah.
I just want to make sure when we did the breakouts for committee reports, it had who was the lead and who was on the committees. For executive director, it was supposed to be all CROA board members, but it did just list your name. So I just want to make sure that that was corrected.
Yeah, I think that right now what we're doing for the executive director is I'm just getting occasional feedback, which I had then said on the only thing I had. And as we haven't had any more updates unless Steve has any more when he gets to his update.
Okay.
Yes, everybody will be involved in the conversation when it comes to our board members, to executive board members, or to, excuse me, the executive director. Everybody will be involved.
Right. You had said also on one of the last previous Friday updates that there were 4 candidates. So I just didn't know if you are passing those along to the other board members.
No, we did not, the board, nobody on the board has had any contact at all. I know I have not spoken with anybody. Right now, it's still in CCMC's hands. We have not had anything. They were still getting more candidates.
Okay, so there are not 4 candidates. You just said there were 4 candidates on the other board updates. I'm just trying to clarify.
At the time, I don't know what the status is now, but there may be more, or there may be less, depending upon
Vanessa,
where they are in
I'll
the
comment on
process.
it. Yeah, I'll
Okay,
comment
go
on
ahead,
it when
Steve.
it gets to management. No, do you want to wait till the management report? You guys
I
can
think
finish
management
the
report
approving
would
of the minutes.
Yeah, I agree.
This
You
is
guys,
just
that was the minutes, I think were correct as they were. I reviewed them all, and I think everybody else had gone through them. But I know you guys weren't there, so I understand your question.
Okay.
Yeah, isn't that the only question now is, are the minutes accurate or not? And we've all reviewed these weeks ago, correct?
Well, as soon as we got the packet, I went through everything too. And we as Laura does the minutes, she sends them on to all of us to review prior to posting. Yes.
Yeah, we all had the minutes as they were prepared.
Yeah.
So this should be pro forma.
Yeah, David, I didn't have these as they were prepared, but thank you.
I think they went to all the board. Was that wrong? I think everybody received them. All board
Yep.
members as they're done. Susan, is that
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
You may have just missed them, Debbie, but everybody's received them. Any other comments with regards to the workshop and the update?
I do
All in
have
favor?
one specific. I'm
What
sorry,
was that?
I have one specific under February 17th.
Okay.
I just wanted to go ahead and confirm. There's one thing that I guess I missed. It references underneath item 4, parks and facilities, master plan updates. For starters, it just is a spell check, so I'm pulling a David there. But secondly, it's regarding the pickleball group. I just wanted to be clear. I don't believe we have a pickleball committee in any official capacity, so perhaps we can adjust that just to prevent any confusion in the future. So if we want to say a resident group or residents that are involved with pickleball, but we don't have any official pickleball group at this time.
That's a good point. I agree. Any other comments before we move on? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, committee reports. Oh, you know what, before we move on to committee reports, is there anybody else that's on here? Because I think that's where I said I was going to go ahead and cut over. Is there anybody that had public comment that was not on that wanted to? Give me a wave in the hand and I can unmute you. Was there a hand there that was waving for any residents? Ah, Laurel, here we go. Laurel, go ahead, please.
Okay.
You're on.
Can you
And
hear
we're
me?
doing this, in case you missed it, we're doing the 3-minute, I'm actually got my timer. So we're
Yep,
doing the
no,
3
that's
minutes.
perfect. That's perfect. And I
Thank
apologize. 1 minute ago, I found where I could wave my hand and I can only ever find the thumbs up. So thank you. But I still am in favor of these Zoom things, so I like them. At any rate, thank you for, again, holding them. Obviously, I've been attending the Friday updates and just was going to ask if under Brian's financial review, is that where there'll be some discussion on kind of how things are going in terms of both delinquencies and concerns that we have in terms of, you know, fiscal spending going forward, given the, you know, sort of situation we all find ourselves in, et cetera? Or is that more of a pro forma kind of financial review that's not specific to, you know, upcoming contracts or delinquencies based on already with coronavirus perhaps having an impact, et cetera?
I will actually, it will be covered to some degree, especially in the financial area. Obviously, we've got what we've got as far as our collections, and the hit for when they're due will be a little bit, we won't really see it right ahead. But I believe Brian will be discussing that in his financial review also.
Okay, great, thank you.
Absolutely.
And Vanessa, I'm going to
Yep.
also add, last Friday, I believe it was, the board asked for us to look at events through the summer, I believe, September, October. And JR submitted that to me. I'm going to review that tomorrow, and I'll have that to the board tomorrow prior to our Friday 10 o'clock meeting.
Yeah, perfect. that answer your question, Laura? You good?
Yes, so that'll be the more comprehensive update with regard to upcoming events and so forth. Is that what I understand?
Yeah.
More on Friday, we would hear on that?
Yeah,
Okay,
so
thank you.
we can talk about a plan A or a plan B on what that looks like, depending on when we can reopen and get people back out.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to mute you again, Laurel.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Questions?
Yeah, Vanessa.
I believe
Kathleen,
Eileen is back on.
and Kathleen
I'm
Scipio
sure-
wants to talk also.
Oh, perfect. Can somebody help me unmute Kathleen in case I can't see her?
She's on her phone, so it should be a
I should
569
see her.
number.
I'm not seeing it though. I saw her earlier.
Patrick, it
It's a
should be a
7291.
569 number.
Is it the 72?
Yes.
I'm gonna unmute.
Yes.
Kathleen, is this you? I just unmuted 7291. Kathleen?
Kathleen's trying to unmute herself by pressing.
I got her unmuted. Kathleen, I think that's you. 7291, right?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, it was like, where's Waldo? Kathleen was on, she was off. Oh
You're
my-
all set.
Oh, good evening, everyone. My 3 minutes didn't start yet. So obviously
good.
I'm a people person. This is Kathleen Scipio. I am not a technology person from the Celebration Foundation. So we have been working remotely, our staff and our board, to stay connected every day. We've been using GoToMeeting.com, and I haven't done much better at that format either. So I just wanted to give you a couple updates on things that we are doing in the community, just in case you haven't seen one or two heart signs throughout the town. That started with when I reached out to our community partners, Advent Health, and asked, how can we help? Basically, they said to stay home, to tell everyone to stay home. But that didn't sit well with me because I wanted them to know that we cared about them. So we came up with the signs. So we put 50 signs around the hospital campus with inspirational sayings to let them know that we were thinking about them every day, even though we were staying home. One of those signs was just a red heart, signifying that we're thinking about our first responders. And we decided to print more. And we are almost up to 500 sold to Celebration residents that are sending to each other, putting in front of their homes, sending to Turner Drugs for having toilet paper, and so forth. So I really like to drive through the town or walk and see the difference of everybody being unified and thanking our first responders. And that includes our public and essential employees. I was at Publix today buying flowers for Jill for Professional Administration Day. And the cashier said, I wish somebody would buy me flowers. And so I bought her flowers. So anything that we can all do, those little acts of kindness, I think we used to call them random acts of kindness. I think they're more planned now. So speaking of planning, JR and I plan to submit a video to Windsor to try and reach out to our senior living community. They are isolated. They feel very alone, and they are a huge part of our community. They come to our concerts. They come to all of our events. So JR did a great job. I don't know if anyone saw compiling all little videos from the staff, residents, some students playing a piano, 2 librarians sent in their favorite books. So we will be doing a second one. So please feel free to email me or JR. And who knows, you might be on America's Got Talent one day or YouTube for just submitting that. So we're just trying to be part of the community and support everyone the best that we can. If you have any ideas of how to thank a teacher, we have about 70 teachers that live in our town. And Teacher Appreciation Week is May 4th through the 8th. And also we are sending things to Advent Health through a donation form. It's on their website. It's ways to give. So you can send 100 donuts to the ICU unit nurses if you're so compelled, or you can write just a note of encouragement right online and submit it. So that's what we've been doing at the foundation when we're not trying to learn technology. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Kathleen. And I love the signs. So thank you. We appreciate that. And I'm sure that the all of the essential workers, whether they're at Publix or at the hospital, will appreciate it too. Is there anything else? I don't want to be rude and mute you if you had something else. Are you all set?
I am going to welcome you muting me at this point.
Thank you so much. Thanks for joining in. Okay, and I think I saw Eileen on here. Eileen, you had I got an email saying that you wanted to comment, and I just need help unmuting her. Ah, there she is.
Can you hear me?
You are all set. Yes, go ahead, please.
Bar 1138 Mosaic Drive.
Jerry, you're going to need to speak up a little bit. I'm having a hard time hearing you, and I'm not sure if anybody else is also.
Okay, Gerald Barr, 1138 Mosaic Drive. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. So in a pandemic or other emergency situation, as you can see, communication is key. We do not have communication to many of our residents. I understand clearly that Florida law restricts us from requiring email address be provided. However, owners may voluntarily supply them. I propose the following, especially since many of the CCMC workers are at home and working from home. 1, create 2 lists. One list would have those with emails that we have. On the other list, with those that we don't have, we have those people from CCMC that are working from home to start telephoning these people, explain to them why it's important, and then send them the appropriate paper documentation with a return envelope, so we'll be able to collect many more emails and have better communication for this pandemic and for any other emergency situation, such as hurricane preparedness, etc. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. Okay. Is there anybody else that has a public comment, since we are taking a quick minute to take that?
Betsy is waving her hands.
I'm sorry. Can you go ahead and I don't see her. Can you unmute her?
Yeah.
I just unmuted. Betsy, you should be unmuted.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hi. Betsy Gillis, Bloom Street. And I love these Zoom meetings, and I just want to thank all of you for making it a Zoom meeting so that we can all come. It's so much easier. And I also want to thank you for having the county commissioner come on last week, because I found all the information that she was telling us very helpful. And I really appreciate her calling in. That was so nice. So thank you. And if there's anything I have to say about the events coming up, do I wait and say that later, or?
This would be the only time for owner comment period.
Okay, so regarding the events that you have during the summer, my thing is that the state, the federal, and the local agencies all agree that we have to maintain a distance. And I just don't see, living downtown, how that is even going to be possible this summer. And it scares the life out of me, to be honest. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you very much, Betsy.
Concerned for the safety of all the residents. Right now, Disney gave you the best gift in the whole world by shutting down and sending all the tourists home. And I believe that's why Celebration only has 5 cases. My husband's in Florida. We've been separated, and it's really hard since, you know, we've been married, our anniversary is 45 years coming up and everything else, and we can't be together. And I am up in Mass, where we have 400 people dying like every day. So you don't understand how lucky you are down there. And I don't feel like this is going to end. And I just want to make sure that you keep all of my friends in Celebration safe. I'm really worried about them. And I just feel the events, they should be canceled now. You shouldn't even be thinking of them. Shouldn't even be thinking, Disney's not holding events. Why should we? So
Thank you, Betsy. I appreciate
thank you
your-
so much for letting me speak.
Absolutely. Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Is anybody else in here? I think we got it all. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So now we'll go ahead and go on to committee reports. ARC? Anything from ARC?
And Vanessa, the way we've been typically doing these is we haven't asked those committee members to come up and present. We just asked the board if they have any questions related to those committees.
I agree. I can't see everybody. So if somebody wants to say anything, I can't. So how about if we do this? Is there anybody, ARC, Covenants, Dog Park, Recreation, is there anybody on here that would like to have a comment? Because I cannot see anything. And this,
Yeah, all of our board members are unmuted right now, I believe, so they can speak up.
Okay, this is Brian Kinsel. I have no comments on the committee reports. There's not a lot of them, and I thought they were good.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Vanessa, there was one
Go
more.
ahead, Debbie.
Yeah, there was
Go
one
ahead,
more.
Debbie.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Okay, there was one more person that wanted to speak on public comment that was not unmuted. I'm trying to get a phone number for you because I think Patrick just helped her get on. And her number ends in 8470. If you can find that.
Patrick, can you help me? 8470 is the last number.
8470. And
is not currently connected. If it was the information that you sent to me,
yes, it was.
Debbie, I did speak with her and I sent her the information. She stated that she will try to log in when she can.
Okay, she said she couldn't unmute. Okay, that's fine. So you just want questions, Vanessa, for
if there's anybody with regards to the committee reports, if anybody has a comment or a question regarding the committee reports that were posted online, now is the time. Regarding board members, this is strictly board members.
Okay, yes, I did. There has been a large commercial vehicle parked at the dog park for quite some time, and it's got a sign on it that they'll move it in a few weeks. Do we know what that's about?
I don't, but I'll look into it. Oh, wait, Susanna's got her hand up. Can you unmute Susanna?
Oh, I believe a letter was.
She's unmuted.
Okay. No,
Susan.
she's muted.
She's
unmuted. Okay, you're good. Okay, you're set.
Good evening. Yes, I know what owner that is of the vehicle, and I had already, I left a message. They had it on a residential street, and then they moved it when I contacted them. And now I've reached out to them again, and we'll follow up if they don't move it.
Okay,
thank you. A property owner or a vendor?
It's a property owner.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this is David. This is David. The reports read well, and it's good to have that. I know it's 2 months worth of reports because we haven't met since February.
Thank you. Anybody else with regards to committee reports before we move on to liaison reports? Okay. Then we shall move on to liaison reports. Is there anybody with regards to CCDD? And board members, you can unmute yourself. So CCDD.
This is Brian.
Go ahead, Brian.
I was at the last CCD meeting. They also use Zoom. Zoom worked very well. Their primary focus of business at that meeting was to discuss bonding for Island Village. They approved the process of moving forward with the bonds. There still has to be committee meetings, public meetings, and stuff like that as it goes forward. But that's what their focus was, and they're really focusing on essential business at this time.
Thank you.
I think the only thing I would add to that, thank you for attending, Brian, is there is a meeting next week. And of course, anybody can reach out to the CCTD office for that information. I just don't have it handy right now. I believe that's Wednesday, the 29th.
Okay.
No, Tuesday, 28th, I'm sorry.
Tuesday. Yeah, it's usually Tuesdays.
Okay,
Any other board members regarding the liaison?
Yeah, I have a
Go ahead,
report.
Debbie.
For Osceola School, for the liaison for the school district, the county is currently providing 8,400 meals per day to our students in 6 different locations. They also have free links passes available if the students need a ride to any of the locations. Also, the graduation, 2 possible dates, either late May with social distancing, if that turns out the governor releases that, or the second week in July would be the 2 possible dates for graduation. And then also for the Osceola County report, I've been in close contact with the county commissioner, and she's keeping me updated usually about every other day if there's any changes for the county. So that's it.
Thank you. Anybody else? Perfect. Financial review. You're on, Brian.
Okay, we included a package. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
We included a package of 5 pages. I intend on continuing to update this as we go forward. I'm actually showing, in the past, we've done high-level summaries. This has got actually detailed by month, shows the full year budget, cash, and a lot of stuff. What became pretty clear to me is, Laurel, for example, talked about assessments earlier. Some people pay assessments all up front at January 1. First quarter assessments got mailed a little late, but people paid them for the most part. So really, we will not know what's going on with assessments until we get past April 30th, and then look at what's really starting there. When you look at the financials, and I'm looking at page 1 of 5, if you look at association dues, trash service fees, recreation fees, apartments, working capital contributions, they're all at 25% of annual budget, or in the case of working capital contribution, it's actually a little more, which meant home sales were strong in the first quarter. I fully expect home sales will take some of a pounding as the year goes forward. But when you look at our total revenues, we are at 24% of our gross revenue expectation, or 24% of our net revenue expectation. So our revenue has actually started very strong. And what's kind of interesting about this is if you go to, for example, total cash expenses, we're at 22% of budget. This is different than like 2007, 8, 9, because back then we still were holding events. Since we've stopped holding the events, we have actually saved expenses. So when you look at it right now, we've actually got for the year $106,000 of year-to-date cash income, and it's been growing some. It was 32,000 in January, 31,000 in February, and it's 43,000 now. So from that perspective, I actually think we're doing well. We had no, on the revenue side, we had no association dues from Island Village, but we've got an action item coming up where Island Village was now wanting to pull Plaza, I understand, in May. So that would even go forward, whereas I thought there was a risk of that being 0. It looks like it won't be a 0, because once they pull the Plaza, it would actually be due to us. So at this point in time, I would say actually we've came out better than what we thought we would do from a budget perspective. And that's worked out pretty well. If you go to page C being, or 3, sorry, being CJC, CJC's at 22% on expenses, and that has actually benefited us because at the end of the day, CJC becomes a zero-sum game with CROA paying 75% and CANOA paying 25%. We're both at about 23% of budget. So that has also worked well for us. And then how I really kind of get a feel for that, though, is when I go to page 4 or 5 and look at the cash. And we, at March 31st, have operating cash of 1.6 million, as opposed to 995 at year end. We have restricted replacement reserves of $1.4 million. Capital improvements grown to 560,000. Our contingencies at 480,000. So we have done fine from a cash perspective to this point. So I think this will, I think the story at this point in time is not our financial or cash position today. I think the story for this event will be how does it go forward. Clearly, April's going to, well, we'll see. We build the assessments and everything. We'll see how many get paid. And if they get paid for the second quarter, we'll have come out of that pretty well. How quickly do people get back to work? How many people actually get back to work and stuff like that are very interesting questions. I'm almost of the opinion maybe that the issue here is, from a financial perspective, a 2021 budget type issue as opposed to a 2020. Certainly there's been talk about the downtown events and stuff like that. I think that's not a financial concern. I think that is a health concern to a large extent. Will the COVID-19 be cured or not cured? So we'll continue to monitor it, but right now, financially, we're doing pretty well, with, I think, the real risk being into the future. And I'll be happy to take questions from anybody and everybody, but that's what I see when I look here.
Board members, any questions? I think it was very thorough. I mean, I think to your point, and I think part of the other challenge is we don't really know what's going to happen in the future. The information we have now is very solid. Your expenses are down. So I think as we stand right now with the information we know, people are paying their assessments. Will there be an impact? Probably, but to your point, it won't be seen until later. Anybody else?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brian, for that, for your comments. I did want to go ahead and just follow up with Steve really quick. I saw a comment in the comment box on the bottom left. I don't know what that was in reference to.
Yeah, so my dog is popping himself in and out of the video right now, and I apologize for that. Someone commented on my dog being like your dog, and I wrote, he's being very needy right now. So it's if he doesn't get his act together, I'm going to ship him off to boarding school here pretty soon.
Okay, just for best practice, I think it would be great if we can go ahead and keep the side conversations off limit during the meetings.
Duly noted.
Thank you.
Anything else on the financials from anybody?
Any other board members?
Thank you for that, Brian. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was very comprehensive and complete, and I think it leads into the conversation we'll be headed to, which is level of service. So how do we want to handle that? Since we're done with financial review, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the management report G with Steve. And there's a couple of things I want to highlight with this. I know there was some conversations before regarding the sheriff, or excuse me, the security guard that we have down at Lakeside. I think this is a good time to do that. As we discuss anything that we want to change or delete, add, change, anything like that, I think that because it's not on the agenda, and I think there's been several board members that have brought to their attention the concern about talking and discussing things and voting on it when it's not on the agenda, that we should note it and then put it on the agenda for either one of our Fridays where we're doing businesses, or wait till next month. So that's my 2 cents on that. Debbie, you had a question or comment?
Yeah, we could have added it under adopt agenda, but you said it would be discussed under level of service.
Right. No, I'm not saying we can't do. I'm just saying that regarding the level of, so we can discuss it under a level of service.
When we talked about security, we were emailing, board members were emailing earlier in the week, you said we would be talking about it at the meeting. And if it needed to, we could have. Under level of service. Is that okay? Right, but what you're saying is we can't do anything or any vote. We could have we could have changed it under adopt the agenda if we need to make any type of adjustments to it.
I thought you did not want to do anything at all with regards to voting on anything unless it was advance notice to the residents. was my understanding.
Debbie, I'll follow up on that comment really quick. We did briefly touch on this on Friday, and based on your comments, Vanessa, on Friday, you suggested the conversation be moved to
the meeting,
today's agenda.
Yes.
Right, which would be discussed under our level of service. Is that?
No, I think our understanding was it would be on the agenda as in something we could vote on if needed to be as an agenda item. That was my understanding, Vanessa. It would be an agenda item.
Well,
That's okay.
how about if we,
I mean, if we want to have the conversation regardless, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah, we can have a conversation. If we want to do something else, then you just need 4 of you. So I'm good.
Okay. That's fine.
I'll go ahead and Steve, you want to start the conversation, or how do you want to, any of the board members want to start the conversation with regards to level of service?
Sure. I think it's important to maintain the level of service right now. That's probably my very simple way of putting it, but I think it's important right now to not backslide on level of service during this time of crisis. That's about all I'm going to say about it.
Could you define what you referenced to level of service?
You're talking to me?
No, I'm just trying to understand, because level of service today compared to 2 months ago.
Level, I assumed we were basically speaking of our global current level of service, the things that we offer. I'm not talking about the amenities and things like that, obviously, that are closed. So that's just a global comment. That's it.
I think level of service, just to make it easy, this is Vanessa, level of service, when I think of level of service, I think of the report we receive from Steve every Friday, basically lists each department, what they're doing at this time, and that would be, as far as I'm concerned, what the level of service would be. In addition, in our budget, we have Lakeside security is on there. And, we can have that conversation. I know that was the big thing that was, what are we doing with the security down there? Do we want to keep it? Don't we want to keep it? We can have that dialogue now. But I think the level of service, when I think of level of service, I think of Steve's report and what the residents are looking for, right? They're still doing ARC applications. They're still updating their covenants violations if they have them. They're still making improvements to their home. They're still reaching out with regards to assessments. So the residents' needs, in my mind, haven't changed any. And matter of fact, I think if anything else, ARC applications have been coming in. We had a whole pile of online ARC applications. I haven't seen so many in a long time. So people are doing work, and which obviously means that so is Town Hall. Any other board comments with regards to that? Does that answer your question, at least where I'm coming from, Kevin?
I think we have 2 different things here. So first, I just want to note that level of service is actually underneath the management report. So I'll look forward to what Steve has to say on that portion. But if you are referencing the security, which I believe is one of the reasons why this conversation began, there were 2 specific items that I requested. You'll recall, and the rest of the board will recall, that I did request an executive session to discuss personnel. And I did that not because it has a negative connotation, but it's more of a how do we best support our on-site team, the CCMC team, as well as by doing our job by representing our community's best interests as the owners. That does not have a negative connotation. Unfortunately, in the past, there may have been that perception. When I requested an executive session for personnel, it's just because legally we can't even say they're doing a great job in public, at times, if there's a little caveat to something as a suggestion. Now, when it comes to security, the reason why I brought up the security comments at Lakeside was because I was under the impression, and we've all had this dialogue by email as a board, but I was under the impression that we first had the security come on for a 3-month contract from May of last year until July. We had that as a temporary item to go ahead and address a concern that we had in the community while we looked forward to a long-term solution. That long-term solution was either a gate, bollards, something along those lines. Unfortunately, because we do have to go through Disney's TCC for approval for those types of things, we needed to take a little more time, and that's fine. We extended the security, and in the end, we extended it until the end of December, and we said we're going to wait and see how it goes. I think we're all on the same page there. Brian, thank you for doing a huge update and a little recon on that to go ahead and get the background. From that point forward, while it was in the budget for 2020 to still have an additional presence of a third-party vendor for security, that is a $45,000, $50,000, somewhere around that figure. Now, $50,000 is a lot of money or not a lot of money, depending on how you're looking at it, based on the level of service that you're getting. I do my nightly walks. I do about 5 to 6 miles every night in the community. And one of the areas that I go by is Lakeside. And without fail, I have found an unmarked vehicle from what I understand to be a professional security company, an unmarked vehicle with a gentleman who has access to the drones room, whether that's granted to him by the CCMC team or whether he has access in whatever capacity. And he is on there on the phone often. Now, there are two ways that we can go ahead and look at this. A, it's a great sign that, I haven't seen reports of concerns coming from Lakeside. So that's either A, great sign, and the need isn't essentially there, or there's a report not being given. Regardless, at this time, because we have Mattamy that's not platting to the degree that we expected, and we clearly have an unpredictable future, and that's not to necessarily say negative, that's just the state of the economy right now. There's an unpredictable future. So we just need to go ahead and basically watch our dollars as they're going out the door. I would much rather turn around and see us now take care of our team, the CCMC employees, and those park monitors that are going to open the bathroom for this vendor every time he calls to use the restroom, or to open up the closet before and after his shift. I'd rather just the hours go to the CCMC staff without that additional security, since at the end of the day, their respective positions can only be to call this, the sheriff's office. They can't actually do action, right? So it's the presence of security. We have the bollards in. We have, in fact, somebody puts an additional gate up on the Osceola County Road that's closer to Front Street. And then we have an unmarked vehicle. So, it's a conversation that needs to happen. Is this the best use of $4,000 a month? And that is my question that I've been asking.
Debbie, you had a question? I'm going to go ahead and let you speak, Debbie.
Yeah, I did have a comment for the Lakeside Security Guard, and I have been there a few times. I have not seen them out, but I don't know the exact schedule. I assume it's in the evening. But at the rate of $43,200, if the CDD is looking at making any changes on the contract with Jerry, I would certainly hope we could look at either adding that into support it or hiring possibly even Osceola County Sheriff Department part-time for that. Even to have them there less hours would be, I think, just a higher level of service. I don't see anyone down there right now. Downtown's pretty empty. I don't know why it continued. I think possibly the contract continued in error. But when we do take a look at this or whatever the situation is, I think we can have more professional service or possibly something more random. Again, I haven't seen him. I don't know where he is sitting or where he is, but I think it's worth looking at. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Just to clarify, the Lakeside security does not come until after everybody goes home. Steve, what time do they start? Go ahead. Steve, you're on.
Nikki's got her hand raised also. I think that they're starting at.
Oh, I got you. Oh,
yeah,
sorry, Nikki.
Nikki's managing that.
I got you. You're all set, Nikki. You're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're
yes.
Good. Thank you.
Security starts at 7 o'clock at night and they finish at 2 a.m.
Okay. And I know when I've walked down, just because I know Kevin, you and we run into each other usually when we're starting and finishing our walks.
Right.
So So with, I know I have seen them down there. I don't know, I've actually, when I walk downtown, I see a fair amount of people walking around downtown. Even at 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock, I see people down there. I actually saw some people that jumped the gate over at the tennis courts the one night. So there is activity down there. But it was before the security guard was supposed to be coming on. So it was, I think that there's more activity out there. I will note that Mary Ann had put on her text chat that basically as the economy goes down, there's a potential for actually having economic fallout coming this way too. So it's just something to keep in track. I don't know that we track concerns raised to Diana's question. Go ahead, Steve. You should be unmuted.
He does fill out a checklist and he submits one to Nikki. I can tell you that the security guard started last summer. There was, as we all remember, there were residents that showed up at board meetings that were complaining about drug usage, lots of bad language, and just cars squealing their tires, that kind of behavior. After we hired the security guard, we haven't seen none of that. So Kevin makes a very good point. Is it because the security guard's there, or is it just gone now? And the option, I mean, the money was budgeted, it's there. The option of a CCMC park monitor instead of a security guard is always available. And a sheriff would cost about $35 an hour to utilize the sheriff's office. So at this point in time, we fixed the problem, I think, but if you remove them, does it come back? I don't know. I can't really answer that for you.
I think one of the concerns that we have, go ahead. I'm not sure. Was that you, Kevin?
I'm sorry, it's Kevin. I couldn't find my button. I had one comment that I just heard, which was security arrives after everybody goes home. And I think in our email conversation a couple days ago, there was somebody that's on site that goes ahead and allows access for a restroom when needed or for the closet before and after that shift. I just wanted to go ahead and get confirmation which that was.
Yeah, park monitors are still there in the evening.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think one of the problems, this is Brian. I think one of the problems we have here is we really don't know. Coronavirus has changed everything. We had a large outcry last summer and fall. We wanted to fix the problem. We put the bollards in place. As I said in my email yesterday, I talked to the board member who was in charge of this last year. You know, yes, we had, as Kevin was 100% correct, we had the 3 months, we added 3 months, we let it go through year end. And that board member thought we were always going to review it as we get into this year. There's no clear answer here. I mean, is the summer going to be different if it starts up again? Do we rehire somebody? I mean, that's the business question we're asking. 43,200 is 3,600 a month. It's a legitimate question, and we don't know the answer as to what would happen if we removed it. Clearly, people have got used to the person, have just moved elsewhere, or else in this world right now, they're staying home because their parents are making them.
I do know that a lot of, go ahead, Diana, go ahead.
My comment would be, I mean, this would probably be the time not to remove it. I think we're looking at a possibility of additional issues down there. The kids are kind of locked inside now, but we're talking about loosening those restrictions very quickly. And they're not in school, they're not on the schedule. And it seemed to be it was a young adult issue that was being reported before. So I think we need to look at this on an ongoing basis. I don't think we have a year-long contract signed with this company. So I think we should look at it continually, but I wouldn't feel comfortable right now removing that service, especially with the kids out of school and then going into whatever summer ends up being now that they're out of there. They're in school, but not in school. Thank you.
Thanks, Diana. And just to clarify, we can cancel our contract at any time. So we are not bound at all by continuing, which is part of the reason why it's been there. I think Steve just made a comment, maybe we reduce the hours and make the schedule more variable. as a deterrent. So that might be something. I will say I have.
That is not me though. There's another Steve on
different
here.
Steve. Oh, okay, different Steve.
Yes.
Well, thank you, different Steve. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dave. Oh, I see your fingers there. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is David. I go back to Mary Ann's comment from the very beginning. Now is not the time to make any changes or any reductions. The only change I would be comfortable looking at is what is it that we ask a security presence to do? So do we want more walk-arounds? Do we want a wider parameter? Again, this is our property. So that's the only question, but now is not the time to let up. Whether it's the town hall staff or the security, what we're talking about with Lakeside. We have an uncertain future ahead of us, and to let up now, I don't think is prudent for us. Again, our responsibility is trying to help maintain the quality of life that we have here.
Thank you, David. Yeah, I think to Diana's point, we're heading into summer. Right now, we probably don't have the issues because the kids are not in school, and I do think that perhaps that when the kids were out of school, parents were at work. They may have a little more flexibility. Right now, a lot of parents are home, but we don't know what's going to happen in the summertime. Is there any further discussion with regards to Lakeside specifically? For anyone, any board members? And then also, I'll open it up. Is there anything with regards to level of service that you would like to address?
One final comment. Yeah, I don't have a raised hand on my screen. I think it might be an update to how we've operated. Regardless, I would like to go ahead and at least encourage management to have security do a security vehicle, something that says security, not just a black personal car.
I believe there's an increased cost to that. We'll go back and check with them. If there is, I'll bring it back to the board.
Thanks.
And Vanessa, this is Brian. I would find value in at least having Steve and Nikki and others talk to the gentleman. I mean, if he's bored stiff because nothing's happening there, and we can get security on the side of his vehicle, even if it's a thing that sticks on there and when he comes to work and leaves, maybe having him drive around other places. I know he has no enforcement authority, but we get a little more bang for our buck, and it's like we've got somebody watching. There's value in have somebody watching. That's what I believe.
Yeah. Anybody, any other board members comment?
Yeah. This is David. Let me dovetail on
David and then Diana. Go ahead, David, and then Diana.
Let's just look at these other options, and then the other piece is having an enhanced security presence. So what's the cost benefit? What's the hourly cost for this private security firm? And then you've already cited the hourly cost for an Osceola sheriff off duty if they choose to sign up for us. So what are the trade-offs there financially and scope of work?
Good question. Diana, you had a question, had a comment?
I would just ask that maybe, I would just ask that maybe Nikki on Friday at our update kind of give us more details as to what the security guy's seen, what he's doing on all that time, because I don't have a real handle on, is he just sitting there? Is he walking around? I mean, now it's the question, does he have it said he didn't have a key, but then park monitors are gone home, so how is that working? I guess I'd like to hear more specifics about what they do for all that time. If he starts at 7 to 2, what are we actually getting, and what's he actually seeing? So
we'll have a follow-up conversation with them. Yeah, we'll have a follow-up conversation with them about what a daily or a regular evening looks like down there, especially during these times. We can get that back to the board next week.
Yeah, I would appreciate that, just to update me. Thank you.
Thank you. Debbie, you had a comment?
Yeah, I do. That's a very, very good point. I think for 40-some thousand or whatever this contract will end up being, I think just a daily report, even if it's a few lines, letting him know when he arrived, what he observed, whatever. Also, I know the actual park managers aren't allowed, Steve, you can confirm this, I understand they're not allowed to call police if they see anything. Is that true with this security guard as well? And if so, should we look at other options?
Park monitors are there to monitor. They're not there to enforce. So they can say something to a resident, but if there's any type of criminal activity taking place, they are absolutely instructed to contact the sheriff's office.
They can.
And I believe that, yes, absolutely. In fact, they're
Okay.
encouraged to if they see illegal activity. And for the security guard, I believe that he will approach people and ask them to stop doing any activities that they're not supposed to be doing. But he also contacts the sheriff's office for actual enforcement too.
Great. Okay. And could he do a report, or is that not something that he can provide?
We have reports. Would the board like us to send you these reports, or do you want to pick one person, or how would you like to do it? They're scribbled. I mean, they're handwritten reports he writes every day.
I'd be interested in seeing them. I don't know about anyone else.
Steve, it might be I'm going to back. Steve, it might be helpful just to have Nikki scan them, send them out of the board. Then whoever wants to see it can see it and go from there. Is that reasonable?
Yeah, just for Debbie's information, I mean, she wasn't on the board last year. Vaughn, with his law enforcement background, was getting a copy of these reports last year because there is a daily report filled out. And he even would go down to Lakeside and talk to the guy 2 or 3 times a week, just how's it going and stuff like that. So he had built a rap art with him. So that was when you or anybody else on the board wants to do that, I encourage it. The guy liked it. It helped him know people in the community and somebody to deal with on the board.
Great. Thank you, Brian.
I know the ladies that play tennis absolutely love it having him down there because they're single females playing tennis down there in the evening. It's nice to have somebody that is there all the time. I know they've repeatedly said that that's very, it feels more comforting to have somebody down there all the time. Any other comments? I'm sorry.
I have had people talk to me this year, even after I stopped being president of the board, and talking about how it gives them peace. So there's a cost, but there's a value to it, and that's what we got to measure. I would love to see us consider expanding the radius that the guy works. So if we could have Steve think about that.
Thank you. Any other comments with regards to level of service or Lakeside otherwise? Sorry,
Can I bring up one thing then on level of service?
Yep.
I'm a strong advocate of keeping everybody at CCMC busy. I think they do a very good job. We know Mary Jane passed away. Very sorry, we all know that. And somebody else could quit, for example. I would like us to encourage Steve to consider how fast he replaces people. Could we use this as a time for cross-training? And here's my full thought process. The state is going to open on some day. Let's just say it's May 4th, but it's not going to open on May 4th and be business as it was. I think all of us agree with that statement. I think we're going to go through a huge transition this summer. There's a lot of risk with events and whether they will occur or not. So we're all cognizant of expenses. I think this would be a great time to cross-train and stuff like that, to hire new employees only when it's critical. Like when Todd left, we had to replace Todd. He had a very specific role. You need a very specific expertise. But could we cross-train people? Could we use this as a way to think outside the box? And on some magic date later this year or earlier next year, when we say, man, we're as busy as we ever was, that we staff up completely and do it. But that's my level of service question. Can we think outside the box about openings that may come up and how to best manage what is going to be a weird period?
Brian, may I just let you know that from a town hall perspective, we have people helping other people. Like Amanda that works at the front desk is helping Nikki with event planning for summer camp, should we have it. And service areas, certainly they're busy, but they are cross-training with community standards. So that is happening at some level. Could we increase it? Absolutely.
And you and I have traded emails, so I knew about your answer, but I'm going even further, and I'm doing it at a public board meeting so that this conversation could be heard.
Well, and thank you for asking that question. I do have a couple full-time positions that I've asked my staff to hold off on. They've gone through the interview process, and I've asked them to tell their candidates that once we know we get back, we can have the discussion of offering them a date. So I have a Lakeside coordinator position that was going to coordinate the basketball courts and programming of those facilities. We also have a lot of summer camp counselors that are on hold to determine whether or not we can get the summer camp. I do think, though, that the inspector position is one that we're going to want to get posted, or we're going to want to hire as soon as possible. We have one inspector right now for the community. I don't think we need to hire them while we're on stay at home, but I would like to at least start the process and get someone in the queue, because once we get back out, it's a big community, and to only have one inspector, I don't think that's going to be enough to cover it. Not at the level of that you all are looking for within the community.
Mary Jane is certainly big feat to fill. She was quite a wealth of knowledge for us, and will certainly be missed.
But we will not hire for these positions until we know we can get back, and then I can have the conversations with the board about getting back up and running the way that we were before the pandemic.
Thank you. Any other comments with regards to level of service or Lakeside? Okay, thank you. So on that, are you set with your management report then, based upon what we've got here? Because you put everything in, all the notes and everything are all in there. You're good, Steve?
Well, I had a couple questions that were asked to me. So
Yep.
interviews, I have, so CCMC's gone through the process of vetting through Arizona and through the HR department, the top quality candidates. Then they've interviewed with Joe Cook, the president of the Eastern Division. And he sent 4 of those top candidates to me to interview. So I've been interviewing those. And I've shared my feedback with Joe. I believe I have 1 or 2 more that he would like for me to interview. But I will ask that he get with Vanessa and give her an update. And then when CCMC selects their top 2 or 3 candidates, possibly 4, depending on what they look like, the board will be called into executive session, and you all will be doing the final round of interviews to make that selection. So everybody will absolutely be involved in picking the next executive director.
What's your time period where you think that's going to happen? Do we have a time period?
Yeah, I'm going to need to defer to Joe to communicate with Vanessa on that. I know he's been sending her some regular updates, but this is the last parts of this process, I believe, before it gets to you. I can't give you a time frame right now, though. I'll let Joe and Vanessa discuss that.
The last I knew was the email that I sent out to everybody, and and then actually Steve had started doing the interviews shortly after that. So I have not heard anything since my most recent update to the board.
Yep.
And I will say, Diana, based on the February 17th workshop, it does share in the first update regarding the expectation to take 2 to 4 months, but that was, of course, before our current situation.
They are doing all of their interviews, corporate and otherwise, they're doing them all via teleconference. So by Zoom meeting.
Oh, maybe we'll still meet that 2 and 4. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and,
Might still be doing that.
The closest person that I've interviewed was from South Florida area. So they are from different places throughout the United States and would require travel to get here. So yeah, I think that this pandemic and the time frame of when we can get out of the houses is going to play a big part in this also.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions you had to field?
There was another question about the renovations, and Mike, can you just give us a quick update on the Jones Room renovations?
Let me see if I can find him. Mike Henry.
See if you were
unmute. You're set.
Oh yeah, the Jones Room, the floor was renovated and completed on the 9th. I think actually it was the 10th. I think it took them 2 days to do it. We did a final baseboard fix about 2 weeks ago. So that is up and running, ready to go. And that's it.
And then the last
Beautiful,
was,
thank you. Then I just had that one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the last question was about the service area monthly reports. Tim's going to have those out next week. So they'll go out to the service areas next week.
Thank you so much.
And I think that was all the questions that I was asked. Did I miss anything?
Just for the sake of
all
Steve,
I
I went through and reviewed the reports today. I'll send an email to everybody. I don't have to go through them all here, just with questions I had, just so we can be more, just for changes for the future as a possibility and questions.
Yep, very good. We knew that this was the first time doing this, and we figured there'd be some tweaks after this one.
Thank you. Any other updates, Steve? You're set?
That is the end of my management report.
Okay, perfect. So let's go ahead and go to our action items. Do I have a motion to approve the director's standard of conduct?
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, I heard David is the second. Who was the motion?
Kevin and David.
Thank you, Kevin. I couldn't tell who it was. Kevin, Kevin motion, David second.
Yes.
Discussion?
These are the same as a year ago. These are we just have not, I know we went through a process 2 years ago to update and then last year, but these are no changes from last year.
That's exactly right.
Correct. So everybody, I think Diana, you're the only one that hasn't signed this particular document, but I think everybody else has at one point in time. All in favor?
I had a question, Vanessa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Debbie. I missed that.
Sorry. I know they're the same as prior, but we used to receive a weekly update, and I know we're doing the Friday meetings, but I just haven't received any updates from you as far as any meetings or anything. Is there updates that you're going to be sending?
We haven't, because we've just been doing on Fridays, there's nothing to really update.
Okay.
Is there, I haven't, yeah, I mean, everything, go ahead, Susan.
I was going to say, in the past, before David was president, we had one workshop a month, and we had one prior to David. We had weekly meetings with the president and one other person, and that stopped David's year as president. And so at that point in time, we went to 2 workshops so that everything could be discussed out in the open rather than anything not being perceived as transparent.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And the other question is, I had requested some information with regards to a records request. And I understand, Steve, you're saying that you can't be back in the office till May 4th to provide any of that. Is that still current?
You'd have to refresh my memory on the records request.
If I were to make a records request, let's say today, how long would it take for you to provide that?
Yeah, I looked into essential services through the legal opinion, and that is not an essential until we can get back to the office. I need access to in the office to be able to get a records request. So yeah, as soon as the stay-at-home order is released, then I can begin doing any records request again.
Okay, so you don't have your computer from work in your home?
Some stuff's hard, some stuff's, I mean, we're trying to keep it consistent across the board for any records request.
So we're talking about standards of conduct here, right? Aren't we talking about standards of conduct?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It says under number 1B, board members shall take whatever action is reasonably necessary to become adequately informed with respect to his or her duties. So that's why I'm questioning.
Debbie, send me what, as a board member, send me what you're looking for, and I'll see if I can get it to you sooner than when the stay at home. But if it's any residential records request, that is considered a non-essential at this time and would require us to be back.
It's not residential, it's on legal matters. Okay, I will send it to you. Thank you, Steve.
Yes.
Okay. Anything with regards to the board member conduct? Let's see.
Call the question.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion to approve the Finance Committee resolution. Brian?
So I'll move.
You're going to motion? Thank you, David. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Oh, good, Brian. Oh, good, Brian.
Second from Brian. Very good. And I'm assuming, I mean, all these have been posted and sent out. Is there any questions to, with regards to the Finance Committee resolution?
Yes, I do have a question on that.
Go ahead, Debbie.
Under the background, it says on approval of the resolution, CROA members will be solicited specifically to be part of the Finance Committee. I just want to make sure this was either open to everyone or every board member had the opportunity to appoint a member.
No, this is a call to the community. That's what it means.
Yeah, everybody's able, Debbie, it'll probably be handled the same way we did like your task force for our education. I mean, it's open. All of our meetings are open to the public.
She means for members, Vanessa. We've already done a call. We did that on the Friday Flash one, remember, because we sent it out. So yeah. This is everybody, like it means everybody in the CROA owners is eligible to be on it.
Right, that's exactly right. And
I do have one question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just in the resolution. I just wanted to go ahead and double check. And Brian, this is all you. I don't care one way or the other. But is the chair a voting member of this committee? it typically says voting or non-voting. So I was just curious if we can just clarify in the resolution that part.
I don't know the answer to that question, to be honest with you. It never clarified it in the charter.
They leave it up to the committee.
We don't have to answer now. We can follow up later.
Okay, we'll follow up, but
I would think what would make sense is that the chair of the committee would be the treasurer of CROA. And then the other, and so therefore they'd be a voting member because they'd be the advocate for everything that goes on in the finance committee meetings.
Typically, we've done it so the board member is not a voting member.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vanessa, I'm sorry. I just want some clarification if we could on the wording, because in a response to one of the persons that applied, you had said you weren't sure how Brian plans to pull the committee together yet. I just want to make sure it's the same way that we have done the other committees and the wording reflects that. I just have some concern with the wording when it says solicited specifically. If we could just strike that and add that it is in the same regard to the other committees, I'd be more comfortable.
It's done.
And yeah, Susan, unless anyone has any an objection to that.
Anyone else?
Just a minor comment.
David, go ahead,
I did
David.
something electronically with a couple of errors in a couple of these. And so I just assume that those are taken care of as we do the resolution. This one had redundancy with bullet 6 and bullet 8.
And I've taken care of that.
I think as we go forward, David, just so you know, we'll you did send the email out to the entire board on that, and it'll be changed.
Yeah, just so that for the record that those are changed.
Yeah.
These are non-substantive errors.
And just so you know, David, I've already gone through all the resolutions and made those changes that you gave us.
Perfect. Thank you.
And Vanessa, before you take the vote, just for anybody that's watching or will watch later, there has been a solicitation of residence. They'll come back and then the board as a whole will vote. So it won't just be Brian putting this committee together. It'll be recommendations, but then the board will vote just like you're going to on these other resolutions.
well, that's
Like we do with every other committee.
Correct.
the second whereas is supposed to say. If we need to clear it up, we can clear it up. I have no problem with that.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Was it an aye opposed or was that just a late yes?
Oh, that was a late.
Okay.
Just to be clear on that, everyone has voted yes, correct? So for the
Correct.
record, if we don't hear a no, then it's therefore a recorded yes, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa.
In the meantime, before we go on to the next item, if possible, I'm not sure who has control, if it's Patrick, of the screen, but it might help the audience to go ahead and keep up with at least the agenda item, maybe, for what can be viewed by the public.
Oh, yeah, and I do not have mine on here. So that Debbie's the one that's been helping. Or I mean Debbie, I saw a text from Debbie. Sorry. The screen is actually through Patrick.
Correct, I'm here. Would you like me to actually click on each agenda item?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Okay, I will take care of that.
Thank you.
And on the finance committee, Vanessa, just for the sake of everybody, we've had one application that I've seen. We need to get some more. And then I was waiting until we could actually have at least a meeting of a group of 10 people to start it together. I think it'd be very hard with Zoom. If we're going to be neurotic accountants and finance people and get into the numbers, almost need to be able to lay out the numbers for people.
Well, anybody that's here, I know we already received one from somebody that is on here, but anybody else, that would be great. So we're ready to move on to number 3, motion to confirm the ARC Architectural Review Committee resolution and appoint up to 5 members.
So moved.
Second.
That was Kevin and Debbie, or Kevin and David, I'm sorry, or who was it? I don't know who was.
That was not
the
Kevin,
motion?
but I do have a comment.
Okay.
That was Brian.
The motion.
Brian made the motion and David seconded.
David second.
Thank you. When you're motioning, it would be helpful if you just said Brian motions.
Thank you.
Or whoever motions. Thank you, guys. Go ahead.
I
you
do
have
have one comment for, this is Kevin. I do have one comment for moving forward for all of the committees. And I'm going to say this as a blanket statement for all of them on how I will be voting. I would like to see that we do our best in having odd numbers of committee members, as we've attempted to in the past, that assists with that balance of coming to a conclusion. And secondly, I would like to do our best attempts at not repeating individuals on multiple committees. And I say that because, especially, I mean, this is volunteer week. I know, not to be corny, but it is volunteer week. And I'd like to go ahead and encourage volunteers all year long. And something that I've noticed that happens in the past is typically if all of the seats are full, we typically share, I'm sorry, they're all full. We can have your application on file for the next time around. I would rather see an empty seat as an official standpoint at a committee if somebody's a duplicate, for lack of a better term, and for those seats to be filled throughout the year with those that are interested. So for that reason, I would, I mean, I don't know if there's any comments on that, and then we can go on further.
Well,
Yeah, Kevin.
Go ahead, Steve.
I was going to comment. I believe the last name on this list here for the ARC is going to be on the dog park committee. So, and there wasn't enough background when it comes to architectural review. So I would recommend that as you guys approve that name go to the dog park committee and not on this committee.
I'd agree with that. I did not see the background, and I thought that was implicit, not in the requirements, but it's implicit for ARC membership.
Yeah, and when the ARC committee was asked, that's one of their requests, that they asked that we ensure that whoever's on that committee has a background in architectural review or landscape review.
I was going to
landscape design.
I'm going to backtrack. I'm going to actually make a statement here, because I didn't. In the past, Diana actually sent me this as a reminder. In the past, we had not actually put up who actually applied in case for some reason they were not moved on that committee. I don't, for whatever reason. So I don't know if we want to not put these up on for the public, but I believe it's on our board packet that was submitted to everybody. Is that correct, Susan?
No.
It is. It's
no, we actually took last year at the request of the board, we do not show the applications. The board sees them in their board packet, but the online packet doesn't have them.
So
the actual names?
Patrick, we're going to want to not put these up.
How about on the action item? How about on the cover sheet itself? Do the names show to us? Do they show with what's online?
No.
Well, right now they're showing to everybody that's watching or will be watching.
Yeah, they are. So I think they're on. Oh. So our action item number 3 actually has everybody on there. Yeah.
The page says that only board members can see it. Is that true or not?
That is true.
Well, it was on the posted line, but it's up there right now in front of everybody. So Patrick, if you could just go back to the agenda.
There you go. Excellent.
And then I think that helps at least until we get through these committee resolutions. It was a good idea, Kevin. It wasn't a bad idea.
Laura's trying to say
it's
something.
just a part of working through this
Laura.
Zoom stuff.
I'm coming to you, Laura. I'm coming. Let me see where you're at. Unmute. Laura, you're all set, Laura. Go ahead. You're unmuted.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify. So in the packet that is posted online for the residents, the names are listed on the summary page for each item, but the applications themselves are only available to the board members.
Okay. I think in the past, if I remember correctly, we never had anybody that way. If some reason they weren't selected, they didn't have it posted. Is that accurate or not accurate, fellow board members?
That was not accurate because I know it was a big deal, I believe, on my first year that we requested those applications not be viewable. And the reason was a resident had a comment to share and solicited, actually it was a year ago, received all the emails through the board packet of those who applied and sent them all an email before this meeting last year. So it was for that reason that the board last year pulled all the applications, but the names themselves remain visible to the community.
Okay.
And one other thing we need to do with this, because you can appoint up to 5 members. So you need to, as a board, appoint those members that that you feel are appropriate.
So I made the motion. There were there's actually 2 parts of the motion. One is to approve.
Well, but we can appoint, the motion itself is to appoint up to 5 members, but we don't have to appoint 5 members. We can just say, we want to approve whichever. We can still approve this, and then we can approve whoever the committee members, and it can be a separate motion, correct?
That's exactly right.
So actually, the motion, it has 2 parts in it. It's to approve the resolution and approve up to 5 members. So my amended motion, if it gets seconded, would be to appoint the first 3 on the list, to approve the resolution and appoint the first 3 that are recommended.
I will second that, David.
I think Brian was the second on the original motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then go for it.
If the minutes show that.
I'm fine with Kevin being the second, and then the real issue with the 4th name is then we need detailed support. I mean, if
well, I think that
there.
4th one was also on the other committee, which was Kevin's point previously,
Right,
was
exactly.
on another committee, and we're trying not to duplicate.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. So we motion to approve the 3. Do we have a motion to approve the top 3? We already had that motion and we had a second, right? Or double, right? Okay. Any further discussion? All in
No.
favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay,
So that's unanimous. All 7 have said yes,
correct.
for the record.
Yeah, I think I was muted.
Motion.
Aye.
Okay, do I have a motion to confirm the Covenants Committee resolution and appoint up to 7 members?
So moved.
Vanessa, I think,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say
Okay.
for this motion, you have, I believe, 8 applications there, and
Right.
you only can appoint up to 7 on this. So when you make the motion, it might be you want to say 1 through 6, or however you guys want to do that. Or
Okay,
1 through
will
whoever's
7.
make a
making the
motion.
motion. Who is it? I'm sorry.
I will
is that
make a
Kevin?
motion, and this is Kevin.
Okay.
I will make a motion, and for those board members to review, number 4 is a repeat. And the last individual has, and they both have experience, but the last individual has vast years of experience. So that would be my motion if that made sense to the board.
and
Susan, you have wait a second. Before we motion in second, Susan, you had a comment. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and the first one also is the chair of another committee.
that's what I was going to say. You've got the first person being the chair of 2 committees.
So when we get to that one, we will be fine.
So are we just going to then motion? So let's motion. How about we do this? Could we have a motion to accept the resolution first?
So moved.
Motion to accept.
Kevin.
Debbie?
Debbie motioned. Who was seconding?
I'll second.
Diana's seconding. Okay. All in favor of the resolution itself?
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed to the resolution? Was there a no there? Okay, so I get background noise. Okay. So I'm assuming that was a no, or that there was no no's and it was all 7 were okay with it. So now we can go ahead and go into, do we have a motion to approve? And why don't you give specific numbers of who you believe should be included? I need a motion with numbers.
I will make a motion for number 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I'll agree with that because number 4 is on the next committee. Okay.
Okay, and so Kevin motioned for 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And Brian seconded that, correct?
Yes.
Further discussion.
Brian, I sent you a text because mine are out of order. If you could help me out with that. Do you have your phone?
Yeah, 1 second.
Or Kevin, thank you.
I'll send you a picture of my screen really quick.
Okay, you're sending it.
I got it. Yeah, I got it. Sent.
Did you get your answer, Debbie?
I apologize for the delay. It's coming through. One second, please.
Uh-huh.
And it's
Debbie-
sending, and in advance, I'm going to send you the next one.
Okay, I laid them out all over the table and studied these very hard, so I did not put them back in order. I apologize to my fellow board members.
I don't know that
It would
there's
say
anything
action.
wrong with saying the names. Certainly the
I think
names are on the action item cover sheet. No?
No.
Okay, I got it. Thank you so much.
So right now we have a motion and a second for 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7.
And 8.
Oh, I'm 5, 6, 7, and 8. Yes, I
Sure.
apologize. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, we are set. The motion passes with those particular 7 members. All right, motion to, I'm going to do the same thing for this one too. So number 5, motion to confirm the Special Events Committee resolution. Do I have a motion for the resolution alone?
So moved.
So moved. Oh, Diana.
Who was the first one?
Diana.
Diana motion, Kevin second.
Beautiful.
Discussion?
And I just want to add on discussion, I sent over to the board earlier a 7th application that came in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the person, it's the same person who's on the committee up above. It's just didn't get copied down below.
Okay, yeah.
No.
No, it's a
No, a
different
7th
one.
person.
No,
I
no,
think, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll text it really quick.
And Brian, you might not be on the final board packet that was sent out, I believe, yesterday.
I saw it yesterday. I saw your email today. I'm remembering it now.
Okay.
Okay. It was one that I responded back with that I knew the person.
Yep.
Okay.
Remember the person's
That's
name.
what you're talking about too, right, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay. So we're on the same page. So you have a motion and a second for the resolution itself. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, then that passes. Now, do we want to do, we can do it with, and it is online on the actual board packet. Names are already on there. So if you want to, we can just say the names that you want to put through if you would like to motion, or you can stick with numbers again, however you want to do it.
Are we going to approve the resolution first?
We already approved it. We already approved the resolution. Everything was yes. I'm sorry.
Action 6?
No, number 5 for the Special Events Committee.
Okay.
Yeah,
now we're going to approve.
the 6 that are on there are all existing committee members.
But we got one additional one. That was the question.
Yeah, you can either add the additional one now, or you can ask the committee to take a look at it and get back to you.
And we can put it on next.
You've done that before.
Yeah.
I'd like to motion.
I mean, we
the
can add it now if it's a volunteer.
Completely up to your discretion on what the board wants to do with it. And you have done that before, though. You have asked the committee to review that additional person and then brought them back.
I hear silence. I need somebody to speak up with their opinion, please.
I'd like to motion we add the one. Oh, go ahead.
So Debbie's motioning to add the one that was received today and sent on to the board by Kevin.
I'll second.
And who is seconding? Kevin?
Kevin will second. I'm sorry. I got to get in that habit.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes with all 7 members now. Is that correct, Steve? You have the 6th plus the 7th one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Susan. Okay, So item number 5 is done. So a motion to confirm the Recreation Committee resolution. I'm just going to have the resolution approved. Motion. Do you have a motion to approve the resolution for recreation?
Motion to approve. Debbie?
Motion from Debbie. Do I have a second? Thank you for Mary Ann's a second. Discussion with regards to the Recreation Committee itself, the resolution itself. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, resolution passes. And then the members, how do we want to handle the members for that?
I would like to make a motion to appoint 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. This makes an odd number of 5 and does not have repeats.
Okay, do I have a second for Kevin's motion? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
And you guys are on the dog park committee now, right?
No, recreation.
Item 7?
Recreation.
Oh,
item
item 6, sorry. I'm sorry.
So we don't have a second, so it
I
dies.
don't have a second. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
Hold on, I may second, I just haven't seen it. Hold on. I apologize.
Well, and can I just ask a question, Kevin? Number 3 was removed off of the other committee?
No, number 3 is on events
Special events.
as the chair.
right.
So he's saying if you have people on one committee, they would be already on the other one as the chair.
I'm okay with a repeat. And I
So
don't
you
care
want to
about-
keep
I
1,
don't
2,
care about
3. So
even-
you want.
I don't
So
care
you
about
want.
even
So
or not.
David, you're saying you want all 3 or all 6
I'm
of
fine,
them?
but we don't have a second to the motion, so
Correct. That's why I'm having. That's why I'm having. That's why I'm asking.
I was just waiting for the list again, because again, I have them.
Did
out
you
of order.
receive it, Debbie?
Second, so you.
You got it, Debbie? You got
Second
it,
to
Mary Ann?
discuss it.
Wait,
Mary
Mary
Ann
Ann?
had second to discuss.
So right now, that Mary Ann was the second for Kevin's 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Correct, Mary Ann?
Yes,
Okay, so now we can discuss.
yes.
Okay. I was looking for a second motion or a new motion. I needed something. Okay, discussion with regards to that?
I don't care about odd or even, so that's a non-starter for me. And I'm okay with
So
a
would-
repeat. I'm okay with a repeat on this.
Well,
So
here's my
you would-
comment for that specific item. And this is why I was starting in the beginning and I put this out there in the very beginning. By us filling a seat with a second based on previous years, we have not allowed a volunteer who may have submitted in June, in September, or in January to be part of that committee because we always said, sorry, it's full. We'll keep your application on file. For 2 reasons, I feel as though it's beneficial to A, stick with an odd number on a committee for recommendations, and B, I would rather an open seat to allow and solicit additional volunteers, new blood, if you will, without anybody being kicked out or left out or anything like that. There's an individual that's already on a committee, and I'm not understanding why we would not solicit more volunteers in the community.
What I'll add into that discussion is what you are saying in theory, but in my experience with organizations that need volunteers is you do tend to see the same folks who are interested, and sometimes leaving an open seat is not because we're not giving anybody else a chance, but because nobody else is choosing to raise their hand. And that would be my only concern here with that, would be turning our back on someone who's willing to give of their time and their energy while we wait for somebody else to maybe. So that
Well, I
would be
think
my
to that
only
point,
concern
it would
there.
be 6. It would also be 6, so we would help.
No, it would be 5.
It would be 5. You run one additional risk. The risk you run also is somebody says, well, if you don't want me on, or you won't be on any committees. That's the real risk I think you run.
But you do have one additional spot
We have
left
one
on this
extra, is
committee,
my
though.
point. My point would be is we still, if something opens up in the future, meaning if somebody else reaches out, there is still one more space left because the resolution is for 7 members and we just voted for 5.
You haven't voted yet, but there's 6 on
Vote
here.
for
You have, if you
6,
can
you'll
fill
have
7.
an open spot. You can recruit.
Yeah, I don't want to tick someone off who's interested in more than one committee. So
I guess I
will
wish
vote
you
against-
spoke up about that in the beginning of our conversations about all the committee appointments.
It wasn't a live question. It was a hypothetical. It's a nice
No, it was a
concept.
live question. There was an individual that was applied for 2 committees.
Yeah. I don't want to kick someone
So
off. I
I'm
will
a
vote
little-
against this. I will vote against this.
I'd like to go back to the first one then. And if we're not going to go across a specific set of, understanding and rules of guidelines, that's why I was trying to put that out in the beginning, to understand how do we appoint. Because person A is going to be a duplicate, but we already said that person B cannot be a duplicate. And that's where I'm having a challenge here.
No.
The difference
No,
in
there's
that
a
one though
difference
was,
there. That person was not
Yeah.
qualified for ARC.
I don't think half
I
the
don't think
board
that's one
was
he's talking
viewing
about.
their applications.
so so right now we have a motion and we have a second. We can call the vote and you can say no, or you can modify the vote. Or you can modify your motion and your second.
Call the question.
Okay, so all in favor of 1, 2, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. All in favor of 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, how many no's for 1, 2, 4, 5, 6?
No, I'm a no.
1. I need names.
I'll be a
So
no.
I'm going to call. Kevin, are you a yes or a no?
Kevin will be a no because I'm not, I personally am not appreciating how it's turning into a personal situation because it's not meant to be. I was trying to establish guidelines from the beginning.
So
I will be a no, and I will support every volunteer for every seat that we possibly have and fill every seat.
Okay. So do you want to just withdraw your motion? I guess that's why I asked. Did you want to just?
The motion died. The motion died.
Okay. Do I have a second motion?
I move to.
You did have a second motion.
Yeah, I move to the motion as written, appoint, it says, confirm the resolution and appoint up to 7. So I make that motion and with all 6 names listed.
So the resolution's already done, but as far as, so your motion is to approve all 6 applications.
That is my
Is that
motion.
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
that's my motion.
Do I have a second for David's second? Do I have a second for David's?
I'll second.
Was that you, Mary Ann? I can't tell, sorry.
No, it was me.
It was Diana, I think.
Diana, thank you. I'm sorry, just say your name. I'm having a hard time, sorry. Sorry about that. So Diana's the second then. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we go to the dog park committee, item number 7. I'm just going to do the same thing again. Motion to confirm the dog park committee resolution, just the resolution. Do I have a motion?
Motion to confirm.
Motion
Debbie.
from Debbie. Do I have a second?
Second, David.
Second from David. Thank you. Discussion?
Just one thing, we did have a member whose dog died recently, so she's dropping off the committee, and that is Patty, unfortunately.
Yeah, Patty Delaney, yeah. Any other comments regarding the resolution itself? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes for dog park. Do I need to, do I have a motion to appoint for the members?
Motion to appoint, and I just want to make sure the most recent application was received by everybody.
Do you need the picture, Debbie?
I'm sorry? It's not in my packet, but I'm sure you guys probably have in your electronic. It was an application for somebody on Water Street, I believe. A Carol?
Was that for the dog park committee?
Yes.
Carol's on here. We do have a Carol on here.
Good, okay, great. Then it's on there. I've got a.
Yeah, Carolyn, is that the same person?
Great, okay, so yeah, motion for everyone to be approved.
We had a motion in a second?
Second, David.
So, thank you. So Debbie motioned to approve everybody that's on the list, and a second from David. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Number 8, again, motion to confirm the technology committee resolution, just the resolution. Do you have a motion for the resolution?
Motion to confirm.
Motion for Debbie. Do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Diana.
Thank you, Diana. Diana, second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I need a motion for committee members. Do I have a motion for committee members?
So moved. Brian motion.
Brian motion for who? For everybody or?
Yeah, all 5.
David seconds.
David second?
Yep.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so our technology committee set. Okay, motion for number 9. Motion to confirm the condominium council resolution. Do I have a motion?
Brian motion.
My motion from Brian. Do I have a second?
Mary Ann will second.
Oh, Mary.
Mary Ann, second. Thank you. Discussion?
Just a point of clarification. This is David. We have not, the prior board did not actually have a resolution. Is that correct? Steve, maybe you'll know. Is this the first time the board has seen this resolution?
No, it's not. This
Last
resolution
year.
actually came about the same time that the technology committee. So we didn't reappoint anyone, and you know, this has turned into a condo council as opposed to a committee, and so we didn't do it at our April meeting last year because we had just created it.
I know, but did we have a resolution a year ago? I'm not remembering a resolution. I know we had the council. Did we had a okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
It was just done after it was done later on, I think, is what the difference was, or earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, condominium council resolution. Okay, so number 10, we decided to move number 19, which is a motion to conceptually approve the school MU amenity and the mailbox kiosk concept pending supplemental documents authorizing the mailbox kiosk amenity for Island Village Phase 1 only.
Okay.
Do I have a motion? Go ahead.
So moved. David, so moved.
David, motion. Do I have a second from somebody?
Second.
I'll second for discussion.
Okay, I think Brian had seconded originally, so I'll go ahead and second because he was first, and then,
Kevin.
okay, doesn't matter. And then discussion. You had a comment?
Yeah, I think my only, I would just like a little more background. I think this was only added to the board packet yesterday. So I'm just trying to understand it a bit.
Do we want, Steve, do you want to do this, or do you want me to pull David up here?
I'll start it and then we'll bring David in. So David sent
Okay,
this to me late last week, I believe, and then I had a conversation with them, I believe, on Monday.
David Hume, be clear.
David Hume, yes, David Hume with Mattamy Homes. The county, they're going to get the plat set, and to do that, the county asked for the CROA board to conceptually approve the school MU amenity. and then the mailbox kiosk concept. So I reviewed with him that school mew amenity, and we talked about the type of grass, which would be Celebration Bermuda, consistent with the turf that we have and a lot of our other mews throughout the community. And then I did ask a question about the mailbox kiosk concept that would become an amenity. I did not think it was right that that be an amenity for the entire community. It would only be utilized by those folks that were in phase 1 of Island Village. So I did ask him to go back and find out more about a supplemental document to essentially have it be a service area where the only amenity in that service area is that kiosk. That's specifically for the service area. Every other amenity within that phase 1 of Island Village, which is the school mew and the rec center weight room and pool, those are CROA amenities that the entire community can utilize. So David, if you're still on, if you want to just add the county's rationale on you getting CROA's input on this.
Yeah, sure. This caught us a little bit off guard, but the county is attempting to get a preliminary approval of concept from the eventual owner, which is CROA, in the process of approving our plat. So to boil it down, I know that we're all striving toward the same goal of getting approved plat and starting the assessments, and the county is requesting this preliminary approval, for lack of a better term, from CROA to say they do not object to the concept of these 3 areas. And just to be clear, this particular plat is what we call the A portion of phase 1. It is not the entire phase 1. So there'll be a B portion that has additional amenities and common areas. For the purposes of this, though, it's just the most northern portion, which we've subsectioned into section A, and these 3 areas, which is the school mews, similar to other mews in town, no different. The amenity, which was already looked at previously and has not changed, and the third part, which is now parking for the amenity, along with a cluster mailbox for the residents of phase 1.
And David, that mailbox is, that cluster mailbox is for the entire phase 1, right? Not just phase 1A.
Correct.
Okay. And for the official review process, this is the county and TCC are the 2 groups that officially review this and approve. And the county is asking that CROA is okay with this before they give their official approval. So that's why this agenda item's been added. We wanted to not hold up the plats.
Just a second. Debbie, you had a question?
Yeah, has this gone through the ARC committee for approval, or do they have any suggestions on it?
TCC, yeah, TCC is ARC right now in this part of the process.
Okay.
So to really repeat this, what we're saying is that CROA is just saying that we don't have any violent problem with this, and then conceptually it'll get the final sign off by the county, TCC, and the regular parties through the due course. We're just saying.
Yes, the only issue I see is that I don't think it's that kiosk mailbox should be a CROA assessment that the entire community pays for, because they'll have no access or any use for it. Every other amenity throughout the community that CROA pays for and they reserve for in the maintenance and operation, they have an ability to use it, whether they do or not, but they have the ability to use it.
Okay. That's fine.
Which is why you're asking for the,
Debbie,
which is why you're asking, that's why you're asking for the service area for the mailboxes specifically. So it's only those residents that have to maintain and upkeep, correct?
Correct.
Got it. Did you have any more comments,
Debbie,
Dave?
thank you. Real quick, Debbie, thank you for bringing up the ARC. David, I am happy to second the motion if we can go ahead and adjust it to ensure that only those who use it are the ones that are paying for it, as Steve mentioned.
Yeah, and that's written in that motion.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, that's exactly the way it. We supplemental document. The supplemental document.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're conceptually approving that mailbox kiosk concept pending a supplemental document authorizing the mailbox kiosk amenity to be for Island Village Phase 1 only.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Any other comment or question from the board?
This is David. Thank you, Steve, for the helpful write-up. And And I'm also just wanted to comment for the record that I'm glad that the county is asking us. I know that we don't have an official role, as I think Brian highlighted. It's really TCC and Mattamy and the county, but it's nice that they're asking us. And thank you, David Hume, for doing this. I know that this just came in yesterday or Monday, and I'm glad that we can act on that tonight so as to not hold up the platting process.
Yeah, I appreciate the quick response.
Glad we had the meeting scheduled for tonight.
Call the vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? You are set. Thank you, David. I'm going to mute you now. Oh, you're already muted. Okay. Somebody beat me to it. Perfect. Number 10, motion to extend the recreation program partner agreements for Family Fitness, Adult Learn to Swim, and X Factor Dance until June 30th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Mrs. Marianne.
Motion from Marianne. Do I have a second?
I'll second. This is Diana.
Second from Diana. Okay. Debbie, you had a question or comment?
I did. I know they're still doing virtual classes on most of these. Are we still charging the percentage we used to charge, or is there a change in that, Steve?
The percentage fee is only for usage of the facilities. If they're doing it virtually, I don't think it's fair to ask them to give any cut of their revenues for that.
No, perfect. Yeah, I just want to make sure we weren't, because I don't know how they're surviving with that.
We have not asked for that.
Perfect.
And these small businesses need as much revenue as they can get. So
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I just want to make sure we
Yep.
weren't. Okay.
yeah, I'm
thank
on
you.
the same page with you, Debbie. I agree with you.
Thank you.
Further discussion? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Number 11, motion to approve the purchase of Upkeep as the maintenance management software for work orders in the amount of $5,760, a CROA operating expense.
I will move. This is David. I will move.
David's motion. Do I have a second?
Brian.
Brian will second. Discussion.
This is David. I know this has been in the works for a long time. I remember raising this with Todd 3 years ago, and I'm glad to see that it's moving through. I'm also glad to see in the write-up that Mike has experience with this particular software. I think it will help a lot. So thank you for putting this forward.
And it's a reasonable price.
It's a very good price. Yeah.
And it's subscription based, so if it doesn't work.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Sorry.
Kevin,
there's a delay. There's a lag in here somehow. I am going to express that I will be a nay at this time. And I'm comfortable if it moves through, but I'm going to explain why. As a technology item, I would really like this to go past the technology committee. That's the purpose of their creation. And the second reason, about 2 years ago, based on the notes that are actually still in this same board packet, which are on the bottom, the recommendation in the past was facility dude. 100% I like the lower cost of Upkeep, and I even more appreciate Mike's experience with Upkeep, which would save a couple more dollars. But because just about 1.5 to 2 years ago, there was a different recommendation, and we do have a technology committee at this time, I'm going to be a nay for that purpose.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I'm not sure the reason for 7 people using it on this. I know we have a large maintenance staff, and I'm sure that would apply for everybody, but this is, again, $5,760 each year. So if this is a system we're going to use 10 years, that's $57,600. I think the seller service is interactive with residents. This service is not. And I feel it's an expenditure that we should consider delaying right now due to the current situation until we review the budget that Brian has discussed with us.
Further comments, discussion? Brian, you're looking
Yes, just to clarify, self-service is a different functionality than what we're looking at here. Self-service is for residents to submit requests, and it's also for us to do push notifications to the community. and a splashboard that allows people to go directly from their app to the website and look for different things. This product would be more of being able to get the data that we need for the KPIs. It allows you to assign maintenance personnel to those work orders or requests that were submitted through Service. It allows you to track the types of tools and equipment that are utilized for those work orders. So it's got a robust functionality that allows you to kind of to better manage without having to do it all manually, the cost of the actual work that's taking place.
Like I said, this is Brian. I thought this was actually a cost savings vehicle when you looked at the manual efforts and everything else versus getting an automated process like this.
That's the purpose.
And it's only $500 a month.
Yeah, and the other option would be, Kevin, do you mind if I just finish real quick? The other option would be if we were to, thank you. If we were to buy a product, then that goes against the direction of the board to hold things on the server. We're trying to move towards more of a cloud-based functionality, and that's what this subscription-based software does.
Kevin, I love that. Yeah, I love that the cloud-based. I think that's going to be better in the long run. I think Mary Ann and I talked about that last month. The one thing I would request that is updated on the operations and maintenance portion of the agenda on the very bottom, it references in the status, it says reviewed 3 vendors over the past year, recommends Facility Dude to replace the Service app. So because of that reason, that's why I'm just a little unsure and unaware of what's actually happening. So in the notes, it's talking about replacing Service with Facility Dude. And then this action item has Facility Dude as one of the bids received, but then it's going to Upkeep. So that's why I'm just a little uneasy with the whole process.
Yeah, and that is incorrect. It does not replace Service. So I will look at why that got through like that, and we'll figure that out. But it does, and just for clarification, it does not replace Service. They're 2 separate functionalities.
Right.
And Facility Dude,
just based on the information I have, that's why I'm making my vote.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. Facility Dude was one that Todd, when he was here, was leaning towards. And when Mike came and he brought this product to our attention, to me, it just made a lot of sense to have the person that was running and operating it. There is a learning curve with new software, and there's a time frame of getting everybody up and running on it. This cuts that down by having a subject matter expert in this software to implement this with our team. And then we can put a manual together, and that knowledge can live on throughout all of our maintenance operation managers through history or through future.
Steve, who are the 7 people that would access this, please?
We have the 4 maintenance workers, and then we have Mike as the director, the manager of that department. And then I believe it can be utilized through Tim also in service areas, and then Susan, I believe, is going to have access.
Right. We've got 6 maintenance people plus 2 service area people that'll be utilizing it.
So it's 8 people?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's 7. So I'll say it one more time. And it'll be the 4 maintenance plus Mike. So that's 5 altogether. And then Tim through service area. And then Susan the community manager will have access to it also.
And does this program normally have a set increase each year for the price?
I think any software package that you're going to get through a subscription base is probably going to have some sort of up. But is that Mike that wants to comment?
Yeah, it is. Steve, I apologize for cutting you off there. When we signed this to Seaside, it was the same rate, and that was 3 years ago. They have not done a price increase on this, and there are a lot of benefits. Of course, I've used it, on the work order side, and assigning work orders is a great asset. But you can also assign preventative maintenance schedules. So going through checking AC units, cars, the gems. You name it. I mean, all that can be put in there. And as you use the software, is where I really love it, is the information you get from it. Outside of, the efficiency of my team, making sure they're, doing things the amount of time that it should take them. But also with that, you can also find certain areas that might be a recurring issue there might be another solution than going back to fix it all the time. As you can tell, I am a huge fan of this software. I have looked at these other programs, and everyone has a benefit, but this is one that for the guys, they can do it right from their phone. There's no, downloading software. It's all cloud-based, and the tracking ability and with work orders can be put together. It also inventory control. If we have just a quick side note, and let me know if I'm running on with this. Let's say we have a work order to go, replace light bulbs. I'm just taking a simple option here. We have 50 light bulbs in our inventory, and they go and they change 3 light bulbs on the work order. It automatically reduces 3 from the inventory. So you can set these red flags on when we might be running low on supplies. Instead of, oh, we're out, we need to make a rush order or something like that. There are many options, and Kevin, you've done. I mean, I'll be happy to go over this stuff with you, but I know this is something very helpful for our teams, and you guys, I know, would love the information you get from it.
With such a low price.
I do have one final. Okay.
Why don't we try it?
Go ahead, Kevin.
So I do understand on the motion on the agenda references the CROA operating expenditures. However, this is going to be used for service areas. How are we properly budgeting this and taking this from the service area accounts for their portions?
Service areas, when they do utilize the maintenance team, there's chargebacks, and the maintenance team will charge back the service areas.
So this operating fee for the additional licenses will be properly, the pro rata portion is going to go to the service area budgets?
No, what I'm saying is as service area work orders are needed, they can either look at hiring a third-party vendor to do it, or they could hire our guys to do it, and they could pay back to them for doing it. So it allows an additional license for that also.
Well, don't we also
and Susan,
do service area door fee, Steve, that covers it?
We do, yeah. That's part of the, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I still get a little uneasy, Brian, from our first term on here when the service area, some expenses were kind of subsidized by other areas. So that's why I'm a little cautious every time service area expenses come up.
Maybe we can just monitor it and see how much they end up using it, Steve, and we can see where we're at. Is that reasonable?
We can do that.
Okay, just kind of see where we're at. So right now we have a motion on the floor. Call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
And any opposed? Okay, so just to clarify, we have Kevin was a no. Was there any other no's? Just because it's hard to tell who to. I'm sorry. Who else? Debbie, you're a no.
Yes, I'm a no.
Okay, so so for the record, Kevin and Debbie were a no. The other members were a yes. Number 12, motion to pay the invoice from Empire Works for quality air testing in unit in North Village Townhomes from replacement reserves. It's North Village, Charleston Place Townhome Service Area replacement reserves. Do I have a motion?
Brian, motion.
Brian, motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from?
Diana.
Thank you, Diana. Second from Diana. Discussion?
Makes sense. This is David. Makes sense.
Okay. This was, and this was all as a result of the roofing, correct?
Yeah, we already discussed it.
Yep.
We discussed it, yeah.
Just confirming. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Vanessa, I had a question. I'm not sure you saw
I'm sorry. I didn't know you had a question. Go ahead, Debbie.
This was part of what I needed, Steve, was all the invoices for the repairs or any air quality test on all of these units, all 74 units.
Yeah, I think that's going to require us getting back into the office to do that.
You don't have that on your computer?
No.
Okay. Well, I will officially make that now when it's convenient for you. Thank you.
Okay. Debbie, I just got a question come across on my text. Is that your question? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, that was a
okay.
delay. Thank you.
It was a delay in my text. Sorry. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Seeing none, motion passes. Motion 13, motion to approve 5 invoices for roofing repairs in South Village Townhomes by Performance Roofing in the amount of $2,250, South Village Townhome Service Area Replacement Reserves. Do I have a motion?
So moved, David.
Motion from David. Do I have a second?
Brian, second.
Brian, second. Discussion?
I'm going to just make this is Kevin, I'm going to make the same comments make every time. The dollar amount is $750. That's a minimum. I would really appreciate, with the amount of business we give this company, if they could work with us on the minimum during this hard time for those owners.
I would agree with
I will
that.
still approve it, but I'm going to keep making that comment.
I made that comment, but I would, I think that there are plenty of people looking for work, and I think another quote on that would be, in the future, would be a good idea.
And just as a refresher for those board members, this is the stuff that is all part of our litigation.
Right, and there is paperwork that has to be submitted to and work in conjunction with the construction defect attorney that is extensive.
So you're not allowed to use another party, is that what you're saying? I'm sorry, Susan.
No, we could use another party, but they've got to coordinate with the construction defect attorney because they work hand in hand to document everything properly.
And that becomes part of the expense load here. It's not just the work, but it's also all the documentation that's got to go to the lawyers and everything.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Motion to approve roof and gutter replacement by Performance Roofing in the amount of $85,700, Oak Pond Townhome Service Area Replacement Reserves. Do I have a motion?
This is Diana. I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Diana. Do I have a second?
Brian, second.
Brian, second. Discussion?
Yes, I have discussion.
Go ahead, Debbie.
I noticed there were 5 quotes, and I checked the insurance on the companies that were quoted, and 2 of them did not appear to have insurance. I had a question on that. Also, are we requiring a performance bond? And I guess want a little bit of a review in the bid process, since of our past history with roofs, is why something would be submitted to the board if they had not taken out the insurance and did not have that in place, and they were going to do it if the job was approved. So if you guys can help me on that.
Can I talk on this? Unless Tim, had you rather? Because you're more than welcome to. But I was going to say that everyone has to have proper insurance before they can be a vendor. Performance Roofing, we've worked with them on the Academy Row Meeting House Green and the Roseville Corner service area roofs. And according to some of the other 5 the other 5 companies that bid, not Performance specifically, but 2 of the other 5 companies that bid, they would not be able to work for us. They know, because it was in the specifications. I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I didn't print that out, so I don't have that right in front of me, that they said that they'd submit their certificate of insurance if they were awarded the job. And so if you, the board, decided to award them the job, we would require that.
Right. But what that was stating on the one company, they currently were not insured.
But they're not on the they're not one that we're recommending, correct, Susan?
Correct.
Okay. I'm just wondering why we didn't have 5 people bid that actually had insurance, and
I think, Debbie, your point is pretty valid. Sorry, this is Kevin. I think, Debbie, that point is pretty valid, because looking at, I'd rather have 3 bids than 5 bids if 2 additional bids aren't going to be realistic or valid or have been vetted ahead of time. So speaking as one of 7, I would prefer future bids, every one of them, to already have their check, if you will, before they come to the board.
Vanessa, can I just add to that? I completely hear what you're saying. It's very challenging finding roofers to bid on service areas. We've struggled in the past to find 3 bids on roofers. So I think Susan's point is very valid, that it was in the specs. If you were to select them, which you're obviously not, but if you were to select them, they would be required to provide insurance, and they wouldn't make it past that process if they didn't have insurance.
I have another question.
Yeah, I'm just surprised it made it to us.
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'm not sure.
We're not making the recommendation to pick them. I mean, we solicited a bid from them, and we asked them for proof of insurance, just like we would anybody else. So there's no reason why we wouldn't put everybody that we solicited on the bid packet.
Is there any other questions or comments regarding regarding the motion?
I have several questions. I'm sorry, I have a couple more. We had an issue, and I believe it was this company. I just want to check. I'm not sure. Vanessa, you probably remember on Mulberry, where the roofer went through the sprinkler system. Was that Performance? Do you remember?
Yes, it was.
They repaired everything.
Susan, I didn't think that was Mulberry though, wasn't it? Wasn't it in
Mulberry
Charleston?
campus, Academy Row Meeting House Green was Performance Roofing. And there were two major issues, and they ultimately resolved both when it was all said and done.
Yeah, there was everything was all resolved. I mean, you're going to have the reality is any construction work, unfortunately, you're going to have issues. The Performance Roofing actually was the one company that if there was a problem, they fixed it right away.
Yeah, I understand. I just was wondering when we provide the information for the RFP, did we provide any information as far as the units or that it had a sprinkler system, or did they look at the attic, or it just seems.
Well, the history has been that the 3-story units built by ISA were the ones that had the sprinkler units. These are all 2-story units. There's 6 units in Oak Pond, so it's not a large service area. And we can check certainly with Performance Roofing to make sure that they know that there's no sprinkler system. Typically, there's some kind of something outside between the units, so it's pretty easy to spot. And Tim and I can go by and make sure, or Tim can.
That's also why you have Oak Pond Service Committee recommending them. Because they know the property better. That was the reason we put that.
Why?
And also have the next motion, which is the third.
Debbie and Kevin are just constructionists.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was hearing somebody override on you, Brian. I think I got the gist of that. I've had roofers in the area actually ask about bidding on projects, so I guess I don't think there's a shortage. Can we maybe get information on how that process or how long the RFP is put out for in the future?
Just so you know, Debbie, this has been going on for a while too. This was on, this is back in January, December, November. I think we've been talking about this for a while. I was actually attended the committee, the Oak Pond committee meeting. I actually attended it with the committee group from the owners that were over there. So this has been on for a while. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll vote aye, but I didn't get my question answered if there was a performance bond.
I'm sorry. What was your question?
We don't do performance bonds.
Yes, the performance bonds, according to the construction defect attorney, that the performance bonds are for companies that you're not sure that they'll be in business. Their liability insurance is what would protect us should they not do it correctly.
So we're not asking for one, a performance bond?
No.
And it's over $300,000?
No.
Yeah, and we did get a legal opinion from Tom Slayton that you don't do performance bonds on roofs.
Yes.
Okay, because I mean, I just think the roofing engineer had a different opinion when they did the report from the last report that was submitted from Delta Engineering, which we paid quite a bit for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I'll finish calling the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
So that would be 6 yeses, because I think Mary Ann left.
Correct. All right. Sorry, my earbuds just told me I'm running out of battery. Sorry, guys.
Mine too. Mine just about died.
I just got the.
Mine never runs out of battery.
All right. So we are into number 15. Motion to approve KWA Engineering as the owner's representative for Oak Pond roof replacement, the amount of $4,200, Oak Pond Townhome Service Area Replacement.
Kevin, so moved.
Kevin motion, do I have a second?
Ryan, second.
Okay. Discussion?
Was that recommended by the service committee? I'm sorry, I wasn't at the meeting. You probably were, Vanessa. Was that their
Actually, they
recommendation?
didn't want one.
Best practice.
Yep, that one, they didn't want one.
We do not give people a choice. We make them have one because it has insurance and protects our liability, which is a lesson we've learned.
No, I agree they should have one. I just don't know if that was their recommendation or if you guys took 3 bids. Or that's just who you recommended?
That's who we've used in the past. There are
Okay.
different kind of, we've used other engineers in the past, and there are different types of engineers. And what we found is like a construction defect engineer wants to fix things that they believe are design flaws, I'll call them. And the job is to put the roof on according to the specifications. And so that's why we went back to KWA. And we've used, and Susanna can confirm this, I think we've used 3 different third-party engineers, and KWA we have had a lot of success with, and their prices are reasonable.
Great, thank you.
And I think to Debbie's comments for the previous action item, this makes me feel a little better by having that additional expert involved in this oversight in place of the non-recommended situation insurance.
I apologize. Can you hear me, everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had to put away my earbuds, so I just switched to my computer instead of my earbuds.
Hey, Vanessa, can I just say something real quick too? I might have misheard Kevin, but the roofing company that you selected in item 14 does have insurance.
They do.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Whatever it was that you guys were talking about that Debbie was recommending happened, but apparently we're going for this company based on that service area being okay with it. But on the other hand, we're also going with KWA, which that service area doesn't want happening. So
they don't want
just
any
the rationale and things are confusing. But I think this is the best thing in the long run for the safety of everybody.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so item number 15 passes. Okay, so now we have moved to our attorney recommendation write-off. So we have a motion to approve 2 attorney recommendations totaling $34,963.37. And again, these are recommended as the attorney as they have satisfied their legal agreement. I have a motion.
David, so moved.
Do I have a second?
Brian,
second. Discussion?
Recommended by the attorney. Sounds straightforward to me.
so basically, just for the clarity, my own clarity, there's a legal agreement. Everything's been done perfectly kosher. This is the last piece of the puzzle. Is that a correct statement?
That's exactly right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Good.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Number 17, motion to deny one attorney settlement request as proposed by the owner. This is recommended by both our attorney and our management team to deny this request. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from David. Do I have a second?
Second, Debbie.
Second from Debbie. Discussion?
Thank you for the management endorsement of the attorney recommendation. Again, seems straightforward.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hold on, wait, I'm sorry. I'm reading just one specific item. The second line of the explanation of the balance due, where
Number,
it's sharing
wait,
where
are
the
you talking
error
about,
falls.
Kevin, are you talking
Yeah, I'm
about item
sorry.
number 17?
This is the settlement offer.
On item number 17, the one settlement by the owner?
Correct.
Okay.
The second line of the explanation of balance due, I don't want to read it out loud.
Okay. Board?
Okay, I see it.
But does anybody understand why I would have a little concern where the error I would just like a little understanding on how that error happened.
I think it's related to their title company, is what I believe. He believes differently.
It says both, the title company and CROA.
That's his, yes, that's his reason for only wanting to pay a fraction of what is owed.
I'll actually shed a little bit of light on this one because if I remember correctly, Steve might remember too, I received a phone call from this particular owner. And I then referred back to Steve because by the time they reached out to me, it was already gone to legal. But I do recall.
This was recently?
It was pardon me?
Recently, the phone call?
It was, gosh, it was a while ago. It was a while ago.
It was in 2019, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he called me.
No, just because I wasn't sure of the term.
No, the phone call that I received, it was earlier than, it was later than that. It was after the attorney already reached out to them. And it was basically, he didn't receive the information. He says that he did not receive it. But it was not, I think it was in relationship to the title company, not in relationship, from what I could understand, it was in relationship to the title company, not in relationship to what was happening at CROA.
Right. That's exactly right. And one other thing, because I look at the address and it brings back, you prompting me brings it back, but I think he closed on 7/3 and we didn't receive the information from the title company until after the third quarter statements had gone out.
Right.
So the title company didn't collect the proper amount.
Okay. And the only reason why I'm bringing up this concern is just because it mentions the failure to notify of all associations. So I just want to make sure there's not going to be a problem in the future with this specific property moving forward.
I think the issue is actually going to be with the title company more so than with the property.
No, most likely, and I hope that is the case. I just want to be prepared and aware.
I agree. Any other comments or questions with regards to number 7? Because we've already voted on that one, correct? Number 17.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, do we have, so then number 18, our motion to approve 15 interest and late fee waiver requests totaling $443 or $543.15 as requested by owners. Management, is there a yes or a motion for those, for the management recommendations?
So moved.
That was Debbie?
Right.
Do I have a second for that?
Brian.
I'll second. This is based on the process. Okay, yeah, Brian.
Oh, Brian's got the second. Okay. So motion from Debbie, second from Brian. Conversation?
Very straightforward.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion passes. So 19 was already done. Board comments.
Just
two outstanding. Go ahead, David.
Go ahead.
I'm just referencing the meeting minutes from 3/16, where we would go ahead and schedule CCS in April. If we're not going to have one, that's okay with me. I just want to go ahead and reference the previous minutes suggested we would. So we should probably, just for records, determine what we're doing there. And the second was it refreshed me that we had an executive session on the 30th of March, and we mentioned that we would reconvene in about 30 days or so to have another executive session follow-up to limit email conversations and keep them by phone. So I wanted to make sure that was on our radar.
Should we go ahead and set that now?
We can do it by email. We just so yeah, we can follow that up on email to set up the executive session.
Okay.
I thought you did that. Vanessa, I thought you did that outreach.
I never heard back from the people that had. I said, please give me some specific times, and I never heard back from anybody.
That's what I thought.
I think that was requesting a personnel session, executive session.
Yeah, he's talking about the roofing.
This is a different,
yes, yeah. Where were we at on that one?
We can coordinate based on your availability with Paul Terry.
Okay, that'd be great. Just a general comment, and I say this, many meetings, but the last minute information and the flurry of text is just more helpful. For example, item number 19. I mean, there's always reasons they come up last minute, but if we could just try to get those when the agenda's first put out, I think it's easier for everyone involved. And also, if there is a change in the future of a phone number and a code to get in, could you please email the board, because I missed where that was published, and I just want to make sure everyone is aware of that. Thank you.
Agreed. Yeah, and just for clarification, to Debbie's first point, we certainly strive to get everything to you on the first round of these agendas, but at times things will pop up and they require immediate attention. So that's why this item was added. The second one was a mistake that I'll take full accountability for with my team, and we'll figure out why it happened and we'll get it fixed. We have the wrong one on the agenda. Everywhere else that was posted, the phone number was correct, but we somehow got the wrong one on the agenda, and we'll fix that.
Yeah. Also, I apologize for adding another thing. I did have about 3 or 4 phone calls about people that had a hard time finding the agenda. And I know it's probably on the website or whatever. We fortunately get ours, more directly, but if we could possibly, where we post the meeting, put a link to that. And I know we can't.
Yes, it is on right now. It's on the notification. I've asked JR to include it on the calendar moving forward also.
Okay, and then I know we're not going to do the board link because there was some concern about all of us being on a link, but I'm happy with or fine with you listing my email address if other board members are and they want to join in. But I just think people are having a hard time finding all of the addresses together, and it's easier for people to get a hold of their representatives if our addresses are listed.
The email addresses are listed.
The addresses are on there.
Yes.
It's all there.
The addresses are on there, Debbie. I'm not sure what you mean.
When the Friday Flash goes out and it has contact for the board, it just was showing Steve's, and then it shows a connection to the website to find our addresses. I was just going to ask if it could be more straightforward.
You want to list all the board's addresses on the Friday Flash?
Well, we can't do a link. It's just a
There is a link. That's why there is a link. Then when they click on it, it goes right over. I'm not sure why that's.
Can you send that to me, Vanessa? Because I'm
sure.
not fine. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So when they're saying here's a meeting and it says Steve's email address, right below that, there's a link for the board?
Yeah. You click on it and it pops right. It's right below it.
I've done it.
Click
Sorry,
here for
Debbie, really
contact
quick. I just want to say credit is due where credit is deserved. I did, Ethan actually just popped in because he's watching this whole or listening to it all. And although it's incorrect on the board packet for the information, it's actually correct on the agenda that's posted on the website. So I just want to go ahead and share that.
Backwards, I think, Kevin.
At least.
I think that's backwards. The agenda has the wrong, yeah, and then everything else, all the notifications, the calendar, everywhere else has the correct one. We somehow the wrong one got put on the agenda. We'll fix it though. It won't happen again.
No.
Thank you.
This is Brian. As regards Kevin's comment about CCS, I think what we have to do, I mean, the real issue with CCS will be the 4th of July. And I think we need to get really to May 1st, I guess, when we're having the meeting and find out if life is kind of getting back to normal or not getting back to normal at all. And so when we have the CCS board meeting, I really think that should be when we're ready to discuss the 4th of July. And right now, I don't think that's what I think we got to wait on. But it would be good to know, Steve, when you're going to give us this Friday drop dead date so that we can kind of sit here and say, all right, this is how we're going to manage all our exposures.
Yeah, I think May 15th, somewhere around there, is the date that the fireworks company needs. But we'll talk about it more in detail on Friday. JR has it written out that if we meet a certain date, we can move the fireworks back to Founders Day or get a refund. I mean, whatever those different contracts are, we'll lay all those out. We'll have that discussion on Friday.
It's going to be interesting because there's going to be a conversation really across the state and country about, is the 4th of July happening or not happening? I mean, you got New York City, you got Washington, D.C., pick your place, celebration will be just the same. it'll be interesting to see when drop dead dates happen.
Any other comments or board comments?
Yeah, just a
ahead,
comment, Vanessa. I want to thank you for managing this. I know that we had scheduled only 2 hours. We had agreed to a hard stop, but I know this was our first time doing a regular board meeting with online without being there. But thank you for all the orchestrating and working through all of that with residents and with the board and management. So thank you for shepherding us just a little bit over our 2-hour limit.
I figured the first time we would kind of let it go.
Yeah, I'm fine, but good job. So applause to you.
Well, thank you all to the board. And I love that we have all of these residents on. So kudos to the residents for chiming in. We really appreciate it. Any other board member comments?
Motion to adjourn?
Who was the motion from?
That was Kevin.
Kevin.
I'll second.
Here we go. All in favor?
Thank you all. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
wonderful rest of the week, and we'll have our Friday call on 10 to 11. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.